Local Roto-Rooter team specializes in fast drain cleaning, septic repair, and installation. One call and your troubles are on their way down the drain. That's 272-7130 or visit rotorooteralabama.com. Roto-Rooter, always here when you need us.
Oh, Roto-Rooter, that's the name.
And away go troubles down the drain.
Roto-Rooter.
This is Alice with Independent Glass. We advertise with Blue Water Broadcasting, and we get great results. If you want results like we get, you need to go with Blue Water.
Did you know that radio is the #1 reach platform in all of media? It's true. Call us to find out how to put radio's #1 reach to work for your business. Blue Water Broadcasting. Local folks helping local business.
When your tax refund comes, put it on the floor and walk on it. Revitalize the look and feel of your home with new floors from Prattville Carpet. With faster and better service than the big box stores and luxury vinyl planks starting as low as $4.99 per square foot. You'll enjoy that tax refund turned flooring every single day.
Hi, I'm Ray Bowles from Prattville Carpet. If you're looking for waterproof carpet, hardwood, laminate, vinyl plank, or ceramic tile, call us today for your free measurement.
Dial 285-8117 or visit PrattvilleCarpet.com.
Prattville Carpet, we're more than just carpet.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's news and views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
This is the top country. We live in the southeast. We drink sweet tea. We don't drink socialist Kool-Aid.
Hey, mister, I don't mean to be telling tales out of school, but there's a feller in there who'll pay you $10 if you sing into his can. I'm not here to make a record, you dumb cracker. They broadcast me out on the radio.
Joey Clark.
Welcome into the Monday edition of the show. You're listening to Joey Clark Live. I'm your host, Joey. Troy Carrico here in the studio with me. And folks, thank God for another beautiful day, another beautiful show, and what a packed show it is going to be. Coach Tommy Tuberville, current senior senator, United States Senator from the great state of Alabama, and probably our next governor. Catherine Robertson joining us a little after 2 p.m. Coach will be on at 12:30. Alan Mendenhall, for his usual stop by. And, of course, all the news that's out there, especially we might be seeing the end of perhaps the Iran war here soon. Trump says we had productive, good talks, so I'm delaying, destroying energy infrastructure. The question is, will the Israelis chill, or will they just go ahead and do some more stuff? Who knows in regards to the dynamics of this war? And then the Iranians say, well, we haven't been talking to them.
Of course.
But we'll see how it plays out. It seems like Trump is trying to get markets calmed, and he is actually trying to turn towards the settling this thing phase, especially after Lindsey Graham's performance of, we took Iwo Jima, we can take Kharg Island. It's like, okay, calm down, Senator. Please keep it and take a cold shower.
The question is whether whether Iran's going to comply and can they be trusted. So we'll see how this all shakes out.
All sorts of questions. But, on my mind, my grandfather asked me the other day, what do you think a liberty is? Like, for years, I called myself a libertarian. I think I still am in certain ways at heart. And you could define liberty politically, kind of like it's in the Bill of Rights, like as Isaiah Berlin, the philosopher, would say, negative rights. So, negative rights would be, it's not like bad negative. It would be more like freedom from, so coercion by the state. So you have freedom of religion, freedom of conscience, speech and stuff. You cannot be coerced. You cannot be violated by the law for those sorts of things. You have then positive rights, which is also in the Bill of Rights, say, like you have a right to a trial by jury. You have a right to vote. Mm-hmm. You have these positive things. You have a right to representation when you're in that trial. And then you get FDR's freedom from, which is another souped-up form of rights, which is just quasi-socialism of freedom from poverty and freedom from fear and all these other things. Mm-hmm. But then there's this other aspect of liberty and freedom that, isn't just about what's politically correct. Isn't just a question of rights And it isn't even necessarily a question of rights and responsibilities or rights and duties, though as we get closer to July 4th, my plan is to dig deep into Washington and Jefferson and Madison and Hamilton and Adams and so many others and the founders as we get closer to that day. But there's also this idea of, like, you feel free. You hear it in a lot of music, right? Like, I feel free all of a sudden. Like those moments in life where you just feel like onward and upward, so to speak.
Come on, take a free ride.
And so I was wondering, good question, grandfather. Good question, Pa, as I call him.
Yep.
What do I at this point in my life, especially as like, given you going back to church and stuff.
Sure.
I'm like, well, it's all right about it. And here's what I came up with, folks. I used to think freedom was doing whatever I pleased. I used to think liberty was about me. I used to think freedom was never having to decide. I used to think liberty was a lack of commitment or suffering weighing down my body and mind. I used to think freedom was lazing away yet another lazy day. I used to think liberty was found in cheap laughter and play. I used to think freedom was friends feasting like kings. I used to think liberty was the sleep that intoxication brings. I used to think freedom was blacking out to smoke, pill, potion, and drink. I used to think liberty was the freedom of not having to think. I used to think freedom was sharing a casual bed. I used to think liberty was strangers pretending to be wed. I used to think freedom was stealing a forbidden kiss. I used to think liberty was a secret second of bliss. I used to think freedom was getting more by doing less. I used to think liberty was never having to confess. I used to think freedom was found in power and prestige. I used to think liberty was seeing the defeat of my enemies. I used to think freedom was never having to be under any man's boot. I used to think liberty was greater than any good or truth. I used to think freedom was in mocking those who jockey and compete. I used to think liberty was found in the critic's seat. I used to think freedom was a right to have my needs met. I used to think liberty was using grievance to guilt the world into regret. I used to think freedom was tearing down powerful, corrupt men. I used to think liberty was calling out their public sins. I used to think freedom was snickering at palace intrigues. I used to think liberty was learning to love the cynical dog's fleas. I used to think freedom was to question and test the Most High. I used to think liberty was the freedom to deny him and love the lie that no matter what a man does, he is never forgiven and will suffer, then die. But freedom is not some cheap trick of the tongue, nor some glory of self that accepts no duty while pretending to be forever young. And liberty is not found in wasting away the day, nor through the plenty of feasting, drinking, laughing, laughter, and play. Freedom is not found in seeking some powerful feat, the enemy's demise, nor the critic's flea-infested seat. Liberty is not sharing a stranger's bed, nor piling up storehouses by methods better left unsaid. Freedom is not something a man can make, or something to be given up to indifferent fatal fate. Liberty is not crafted for a man's own sake, but is a gift of love, given to be given, chosen to be chosen, bestowed before the very foundations of the world were laid, destined by a love forever greater than any mistake man or woman could ever make. I used to think freedom was doing whatever I pleased. I used to think liberty was all about me. But now I see these are the glorious gifts of God's heavenly family, redeemed by the pouring out of Christ's blood and grace in a mystery that, once and for all, serves as the cornerstone of creation eternally. Freedom is loving God the Father, giving up a broken and contrite heart to him, just as God the Son gave up his spotless and blameless heart to wash away all crimson sin. And liberty is believing in what he, through Christ Jesus, has done for you and me, sealed by the Holy Spirit so that we may love one another in a thanksgiving of everlasting fraternity. In other words, freedom is heaven, folks. And what a gift it is. Freedom is a gift of love, And it's not all these things. A lot of that stuff I just mentioned could be pretty great. Like good food, feasting like kings, good drink, good cigar, victory on the battlefield, victory on the basketball court and the football field, like all good things.
In and of the world, though,
yes.
Isn't it? In and of the world.
But you got to put first things first. And when I began today, and I will continue to begin the day by putting this first, and then the other things work themselves out.
This is true. And, as you're reading it, I was really asking myself what your pa asked you, what is liberty to me? And as I'm thinking it through, it comes back to free will. God created us. We were liberated at birth, at the birthing of our time. And the beauty of it is that eternity that's promised beyond. It's very well done. You did a good job on that one.
Yeah, and there's a lot more that can be said and should be said, and people have been saying it for thousands of years, and I don't think we'll ever quite, with our own words, get what it is actually like. But that's the freedom, and I think that freedom's everywhere. And our problem is that we tend to twist it or deprive it or think we made it or get all prideful and stuff. So welcome into the show. Happy Monday. And again, thank you to God for another beautiful day and another beautiful show. Also, again, Coach Tuberville joining us a little after 12:30. Looking forward to talking to Coach. Going to talk about men and women's sports. That's still a thing, apparently, at the federal level. It is. Also, this Iran war, we're going to touch on with him. And then, what he's seeing as like the top, what's his mission if he's going to be governor of this state?
Right.
Some basic questions there. Also look forward to talking to Alan Mendenhall, who is taking on the American Bar Association once again. He's rebutting the rebuttals to his last piece he wrote a few weeks back. And he's also taking on this corporate equity score thing, which is essentially like DEI.
Right.
And essentially guilting, if not strong-arming, corporations, Fortune 500s, into not just like having equitable hiring practices, which is already in law, but like publicly supporting all the latest woke or whatever you're calling it.
If you look at the website that he links at his website about the scorecard, it's interesting because it's got like 15 different parameters, like freedom of express religion in the workplace, things like that. Right. So it's not just like you said. It's not just are you woke. It's let's take a look at all these sub.
Yeah, there are now neutral alternatives to the corporate equity index, and the beautiful thing is of the Fortune 500 companies, I think it's less than 100, I believe, that even officially sign up. Like that, they'll still score companies that don't officially sign up, but there are a lot of these companies saying, no, we're done with that. That's, it's a Trump country now, for better or for worse. So, moving to the news. Trump coming out and saying, we're going to look to make a deal. I'm going to hold off on bombing the crap out of Iran and their energy infrastructure. That's the long and short of it, but here's what the president actually put out in all caps on Truth Social. I am pleased to report that the United States of America and the country of Iran, Mr. President, have had over the last 2 days very good and productive conversations regarding a complete and total resolution of our hostilities in the Middle East. Based on the tenor and tone of these in-depth, detailed, and constructive conversations, which will continue throughout the week, I have instructed the Department of War to postpone any and all military strikes against Iranian power plants and energy infrastructure for a 5-day period, subject to the success of the ongoing meetings and discussions. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President Donald J. Trump. Now, after he puts that out, markets react favorably. Oil starts coming down, stock futures go up. I haven't even looked at what the stock market's doing at opening today. But then immediately, the Iranians came out and said there's no direct or indirect talks with the U.S. And this is just Trump simply backing down on his ultimatum because he's scared. And then, of course, to back up Trump, AXIOS came out and said, actually, Turkey, Egypt, Pakistan are mediating between the U.S. and Iran. And when Trump was asked on the tarmac out at the airport outside Air Force One, they were like, well, who are you talking to? He's like, I'm not going to say. I don't want him to get killed. So it sounds like there is moves being made. In fact, it's Witkoff and Kushner, the folks that you would expect to make these deals, who've been trying to make a deal for a long, long time in this regard. Trump says, we're dealing with the man who is the most respected and the leader. It's a little tough. we've wiped out everybody. We want the nuclear dust. I think we're going to get that. He wants all the enriched uranium.
I was on 99.5 today earlier with Brian Dawson, and
how's he doing?
He's doing good. He's filling in for what's his name? I forget.
Leland.
Yeah, Leland. Yeah. Leland. I've met Whaley, right?
Yeah,
Whaley.
Leland's good.
But he told, he said, here's the thing he asked. He pointed, and I thought this will be a good topic for us down the road, I'm guessing maybe today, is what does right look like in a negotiated settlement, right? What can we live with, Joey? And I've said this before, and I hate saying this. I don't want to sound crass. I have zero confidence in the ability of the negotiation terms to be met by the Iranians. They continue to play subterfuge. I don't know. I think Trump is giving them that golden opportunity, and if not, then there will be hell to pay.
Well, here's Trump on the tarmac laying out the things we want in under 1 minute.
You believe in taking CNN over Newsmax? You believe it?
What are you looking for in these talks, Mr. President?
We're looking for all of the things that we've been talking about. We want to see no nuclear bomb, no nuclear weapon, not even close to it, low key on the missiles. We want to see peace in the Middle East. We want the nuclear dust. We're going to want that, and I think we're going to get that. We've agreed to that. Yeah, we've agreed to that.
You want the enriched uranium before you can end this.
And we want no enrichment, but we also want the enriched uranium.
Yeah, that's important.
If this happens, it's a great start for Iran to build itself back, and it's everything that we want. And it's also great for Israel, and it's great for the other Middle Eastern countries, Saudi Arabia, UAE, Qatar, all of them, Kuwait and Bahrain in particular. So it's great for all of them.
Well, we shall see.
And meanwhile, I was just looking at the market. The market's up, NASDAQ's up. But the volatility in the market, and Austin Baranco can talk probably about this if he's on, is that some people think that, well, this shows that America's weak because we're negotiating. No, I think we're always trying to do this. And the question came today on the other show was Israel will Israel comply? And I said, they'll heal. They'll heal. But the thing is this. If you've listened to the Iranian side, they are defiant. We're not talking.
But that's.
So
I don't believe them.
We'll see. I don't think so either.
I don't believe them 1 second. It just like I look at that and whatever. Before we get Coach on, there is some stuff going on in the Senate. Did you see that John Kennedy tried to get like some deal going on with the government shutdown, and the lines in particular the Atlanta airport are insane outside the building?
Yes.
For baggage checking.
I know.
Outside the building, and if you've ever been in that building, it's a big building.
It's a huge building in Hartsfield, yeah.
Yeah, so to see like a huge line flowing out of those doors that you get dropped off at is insane. So Kennedy had this idea of like, well, y'all ain't going to get paid. We ain't going to get paid. Nobody should get paid while there's a government shutdown. Okay. And a senator objected and then ran out of the Senate room. And he's like, is that even allowed? How disrespectful is that?
Who was it?
And then there's still questions. Is the Save America Act about to break through Democrats' blockade? Trump doubling down on that over the weekend, saying, no, get on top of that, get on top of that. We're not giving things up. That's right. So you see Senator Britt slamming the Democrats for the TSA turmoil, and she backed Kennedy's bill to withhold congressional pay during the government shutdown. As I'm going through Alabama news, that young man, 20 years old, who died in Barcelona, 3 a.m.
Yeah.
Apparently, a Spanish paper is reporting a video shows him just falling into the water.
I saw that.
That's awful, man. And lift up that family, the Gracie family, in prayer. That is just, I can't even imagine the pain they're going through right now.
It's terrible.
But a lot of folks are thinking foul play, what might happen next. But it looks like
they had CCTV the whole time, I think, and they said he went out there, kind of teetered and into the water. It was about 12 feet deep, they said.
What a mess. What a mess. Let's go to line 1. You're on there. Who's this?
Bob.
Hey, Bob. How are you?
Good morning. How are you?
Good.
Great. Am I on the air?
Yes, sir, you are.
Listen, I just want to tell you I so much appreciate your spiritual growth and your path you're walking on. It just delights me.
Well, I appreciate you appreciating it, and I'm one day at a time.
One day at a time. Listen, I saw Darryl Strawberry preaching Sunday on TV, and he did an amazing job.
That's great.
Brady, retired his jersey, played on 4 major league teams, and grew up in the ghetto and was on drugs and everything else. And he met Jesus now for the last 20 years. He's an evangelist.
Amen.
That's
And
awesome.
an irony of this life is sometimes it's those who live passionately, and maybe they live passionately in the wrong direction.
Sure.
But when they get on fire for Christ and they actually feel the light of the morning star rise in their heart, it is something to behold. So I haven't checked out his preaching, though. I need to check it out.
It is. And, I've said that thing so much. I've got some friends that used to be wild hellraisers, drunkards, and all that. And, they would tear up a bar. And then when they met Jesus, they were just as wild and crazy for him as they were in the bar.
That's a good thing.
Amen. They go from honky-tonk heroes to being soldiers for Christ.
That's right.
Yeah, God bless you guys. Thank you.
God bless you,
Thanks, Bob.
272-9228. Yeah, there's one in every crowd.
Well, you know what's funny?
Crying out loud.
What you mentioned, we have the Vets Recover program down in Mobile that the Admiral's now the CEO of it. But John Kilpatrick, Colonel John Kilpatrick, founded it. He was an addict, an alcoholic, and other addicts after his service in the Marines. But he does this now because, A, it keeps him straight and narrow. 2, he transfers the same passion he did in partying and doing that, like you said, into helping others.
And when you get better, you got to realize it's not just for you.
That's right.
You have a mission now to
save
the best
others.
of your ability to share this with others.
Absolutely.
We got to hit this break, though. We have Coach, United States Senator, future governor of the state of Alabama, Coach Tuberville, joining us. We'll be right back with him.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings, 6 till 9, and afternoons, 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM, WACV.
When it comes to your mortgage, who you work with matters. And this is one decision where local makes all the difference. Don't fall victim to flashy mailers, spam calls, or 1-800 lenders who don't even know your name, much less your neighborhood. Those lenders are often sitting in some faraway state, reading from a script, and chasing volume, not relationships. A local lender understands the market you live in, or should I say that we live in. At Alabama Home Mortgage, you can look at us in the eye and trust us with one of the biggest financial decisions you'll ever make. Local lenders don't disappear after closing day. Our reputation is built right here, one family at a time. So before you pick up the phone and call a stranger, remember us, Kim Williams and Madeline Cannon at Alabama Home Mortgage. You deserve guidance from someone who knows the community because they're a part of it. Give us a call at Alabama Home Mortgage today at 334-567-4223 or visit us online at myalabamahomemortgage.com. That's Alabama Home Mortgage, because there is a difference in mortgage companies. NMLS 1586368, Equal Housing Lender.
The employees of Adams Drugs would like to thank you for trusting us with your health care in 2025. We look forward to serving you and your family in 2026. You will continue to enjoy the same services such as immunizations, compounding, medication therapy management, delivery service, and wellness clinics, to name a few. Looking for that perfect gift for a loved one? Visit our Emily B. gift shop and find everything from Tyler candles to scout bags. Gift wrapping is available. If you have not visited Adams Drugs and experienced the award-winning customer service, we ask you to consider us for your prescription care in 2026. We have 12 convenient locations to serve you in the River Region. 8 in Montgomery, 1 in Wetumpka, Prattville, Millbrook, and Pine Level, Marbury. Please find us at adamsdrugs.net for the location that is nearest to you. Adams Drugs is your local, independently owned Health Mart pharmacy. Health Mart, taking the time to listen and care.
The Rich Thomas Weather Network, brought to you by Montgomery Paint and Body. From little fender benders to total body repair, MPB will fix it good as new, maybe better. For 4 decades, the Turner family has been getting you back on the road. Call 279-7325.
Rich Thomas Weather. Well, hi, everybody. As we start this brand new week, look for another warm day today with a high temperature in the lower 80s, plenty of sunshine. We got a weak cool front that'll be sweeping through the state, so I think tonight will be cooler. Overnight low temperature down to about 50. Tuesday will be noticeably cooler, breezy with a high temperature only in the lower 70s. I've got us around 73 Tuesday, 71 on Wednesday. There is a chance of an isolated shower somewhere in the area on Tuesday night. Otherwise, it's a dry forecast this week, and we're back to the low to mid 80s on Thursday and Friday before a weekend cool down. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
CB&S Bank, serving families and communities since 1906. Proud to be named 16th best performing bank nationally in their asset category by American Banker. Learn more at cbsbank.com. CB&S Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Trustworthy, accurate, immediate. Carrying your voice across the river region. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. And without further ado, folks, we have joining us here over the live stream your senior United States Senator from the great state of Alabama, soon to be the next governor of the great state of Alabama, Coach Tommy Tuberville. Coach, good to see you, sir. How are you?
Joey, what happened to your barber?
I knew that was coming.
What happened? We lost our brother Jack, and now you've gone to heck in a handbasket, man. Well, you're trying to look like Elvis.
Now my uncle asked me, "You going for the Jesus look for Easter?" I guess, yeah, if the shoe fits.
That looks pretty good, I guess, but it is what it is. I'm not going to comment farther than that.
Fair enough. Now I got to start off with just a basic Alabama question, and it could be policy or it could be something a little more, high level, 10,000 feet. What do you think is what this state needs? What do you hope to do as a leader for the state of Alabama?
Well, put leadership there. There's a lot of people just like to be a leader, but I don't care anything about being elected as a leader. I want to do leadership, and we're putting together a plan right now, Joey, that I think the people of the state are going to be happy about. I won't get into details, but we're going through everything we possibly can to make sure that when and if we do win, and then we have the inauguration, we hit the ground running, because you only got a certain amount of time. And then again, that will be right before the legislature goes into session. And so we want to make sure that we have people in mind that we want to talk to and put this thing together. But, there's a lot of things. Of course, I deal with a lot of state issues being a United States Senator, whether it's infrastructure, or military, or immigration, education. Big thing that I've been working on a lot is healthcare. For the past 5 years, I'm on the health committee, and it's a disaster. Obamacare has just absolutely ripped the heart out of America, and we're trying to put the pieces back into place, but it's hard to do that when you've got people up here that want to keep it the way it is, because they know if they can keep healthcare the way it is, and I'm talking about the Democrats, is they can continue to maintain control of everybody's lives, and that's not what this country's about.
Yeah, and with MAHA, you don't even have to change the acronym. We can make Alabama healthy again as well. But I have one request when you become governor, and when the time is appropriate, is lead this state in prayer, kind sir. I think it would be something we all need to do, but I like seeing when our leaders lead in that regard.
Yeah, state prayer, pledge allegiance, national anthem. We've got to get back to patriotism. We've almost made it 250 years, but we won't even come close to getting to that point if we continue down the path that we're going, that the Democrats have just absolutely taken the path of the radicals across the world. They've joined with, Iran. They've joined with, these radicals that are in Europe. It's hard to explain. I've watched this unfold in my going on 6 years up here, and I've been just absolutely devastated by how people follow somebody that means, that has no plan for America. It's just absolutely amazing to me. But again, we've got such a great country that it's basically been on autopilot. President Trump's trying to get back into the driver's seat and help. But the problem is up here, we're running into a Democratic Party that that wants no way to have President Trump to have any wins for the American people. They want to run him out, convince people across this country that, hey, we're the party of America, which they're definitely just opposite, to get them back into power where they can do what Joe Biden did, is open the borders again and just absolutely ruin our country.
Now, there's one issue, there's a lot of issues, but there's one in particular that shows just how radical and lost in the wilderness the Democrats are. And it looks like once again, Senate Democrats voted against protecting women and girls in sports, not letting men in women's sports. And for the life of me, I don't understand their position at this point, like why they're standing by this.
Well, because they've got the LGBTQXYZ group that if they take one of those letters out of there, that they might make some of the other ones mad. It's not about doing what's right for America or for women or girls and no men in women's sports. It's about power, Joey. It's about getting that group to continue to vote for them. Just think about this for a minute. President Trump got 77 million votes, okay? Now, he got union votes. He got minority votes. He really reached into the Democratic Party's base and said, come with me and we'll help you. The Democrats have let you down for years and years and years. And exactly right. So what do you do if you're the Democrats? You just go off the deep end, or you just make another plan? Well, their plan is, all right, we let these 15, 20 million people in here that are illegals. We've got to allow them to vote. We've got to give them the right to vote, because if we don't, the American people are going to vote back in the conservative Republican Party of J.D. Vance and Marco Rubio. That's after President Trump's gone, and we'll be out of business. And so that's what you're seeing up here right now. It's Chuck Schumer's, he's leading, and I think he's leading his group off of a cliff, because now he's starting to get people. First time I've been here in 5 years, over 5 years, I've seen some of the people that have followed him and have crazy votes against our country start saying, wait a minute now, this TS not funding TSA, that's not going too well for the American people. And not funding DHS, not funding, Coast Guard Academy, the cyber, FEMA. People are starting to wake up, even the people that are in the Senate. So Chuck Schumer's, he's digging his own grave here, and he should, because he's absolutely lost it. He's not an American. He's a communist, and they're tired of following it.
Yeah, and I saw this morning some of the lines out of the Atlanta airport outside, and that's a big building inside. So when you see hundreds and hundreds of people stuck, I can't even imagine. And I believe, as much as it's a patriotic thing for Elon Musk to say, I'll pay for TSA workers, that shouldn't even be necessary. The government needs to be opened up.
Yeah. Well, again, the Democrats don't want to do anything for the American people. They are rolling the dice here, saying and hoping that the American people look at Donald Trump and blame this on him, when we have voted 13 times in the United States Senate, following the House that already passed it, to pass this last appropriations bill to fund the rest of the federal government. But they're pointing at President Trump and us, hey, it's their fault. I mean, if people believe these people, it just shows you how far we've lost this country.
Now, on the war with Iran, I treat it like I'm a spectator. I'm not in the seat having to make those decisions. I can't even imagine the weight of those decisions the president in particular has to make. My hope is that this is short term, as they said at the outset of this war. And, another takeaway is our armed forces, the United States military and the men and women who serve in it are second to none. The capabilities and just the excellence, some of the best Americans we have. What do you think of this war at this point, and where's your sense of where this is going possibly?
Well, first of all, you said exactly right. Our men and women, this is the best ever military to ever do anything. And our weapons are better. We improve every day. Our recruiting after the disaster of 4 years of Joe Biden is gone skyrocketing. And we got more men and women in the military now. It's just, it's so good, because I'm on armed services, and I saw every bit of this nonsense that they tried to push with these woke people. The Secretary of Defense was an absolute joke. All these people, they just tried to destroy our country, and it started with our military. So, President Trump made a very, very bold move, but I think it's one that if he doesn't do this, if he doesn't stop Iran from getting a nuclear weapon, because these crazy people will use it. I mean, they live off of death. You know, they don't live off family and friends and education. They live off one thing, you know, kill the infidels. And the infidel is who? It's all people that don't believe in this nonsense of Sharia law and the Quran. And so they were going to build one, and they would have wiped out Israel first, and then it would have been a massive war across the world. So President Trump did the right thing, and I don't think it'll go more than a couple more weeks. I think this is kind of a timeout period this morning that President Trump announced. I think he just wanted more time to work with whoever's leading Iran. I don't know who it is. They've killed about everybody over there that can you know, put two sentences together. But you know, I'm proud of our military. I went last week with President Trump up to Delaware to the young man and the other two that were stationed in Birmingham, but one that actually was from Auburn. His parents live in Auburn, and boy, what a solemn moment that is. But I spoke with President Trump was there, Kane was there, our Joint Chiefs of Staff, and Secretary Hexas was on the plane with us, and we talked about what was going on, and just listening to those three talk about how good our weapons are, how precise they've been, how well our fighters, and you know, the F-35s, by the way, we have 22 of them just right down the street from where you are right now with the Alabama Air National Guard. It is a tremendous military that we should be very, very proud of. It's expensive, but we should be very proud of all those men and women.
Well, I'm always appreciative of your time, and look forward to see you here reside in Montgomery when you become governor of this great state. And by the way, you're not alone in my hair. My next door neighbor's David Hasbell. He said I look like a meth addict. So, you know, but it comes with the territory.
Yeah, I came to Montgomery the other day and visit with a caucus there in the State House, and David come in late, and I told him I was going to make him run sprints for being late to my meeting. But yeah, you look a little different than you did a few years ago. Of course, it's been, like I said, 6 years since I've been in your studio there with you and Jack after I got elected, and look forward to coming back. We'll spend a lot of time together, and if I do, which I think I got a good chance of winning this governor's race, then we'll spend a lot of time together. We want to be very transparent across the state, and we want to give the state back to all Alabamians. We got a lot of work to do. Governor Ivey's done a good job, but we got to pick it up, because it's going to be like recruiting in the SEC. We have manufacturing coming back in this country, Joy, and we have to get our share. And it starts with water, power, transportation, education, all things that we can do that. We did that deal in Muscle Shoals this past week. We're at 2,000 new jobs building submarines in Northwest Alabama. Who would ever thought? We worked on that for a complete year. And President Trump would have come because this was his idea. But if I'm him, I wouldn't go out in public right now. I'd stay behind the scenes. But it's thanks to President Trump, we've got Fannie Mae, we got the Coast Guard, we've got Space Command. Now we've got submarines that we're building. We got more and more things coming. The sky's the limit for us, but we got to have a plan. And I look forward to putting that plan together.
Right. Look forward to seeing it myself. And well, appreciate your time, and God bless. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Again, folks, that is Coach Tommy Tuberville, senior United States Senator from the great state of Alabama, and your future governor. I think safe to say. 272-9228 if you want to get in. Yeah, it's amazing. We got Troy Carrico here in the studio with me. Building submarines, but like up in Northwest Alabama. It's amazing where we can do all this stuff.
Well, most of the subs that they use are compartmented. They are modular, if you will. So, I could see that happening. I think it's great. I think the big thing that we need to also focus on is the inland port facility that's coming to Hope Hall, where they will be shipping directly from the port of Mobile and breaking down equipment and stuff here. So it could be a very good growth for Alabama coming up under his tenure.
Now, you've seen a lot of stuff. You've been in it. Like, can you imagine a full however long the tour is, in a submarine? under the ocean.
Listen, we call them bubbleheads. Their badge, the reason is they go down underwater for 30, 45 days. They don't see anything. They see no sunlight. I've talked to, and I know people who are nuclear submariners. It's almost a toxic environment sometimes inside. Everything is so compressed on you. I have the utmost respect for those. And that's the third part of our nuclear deterrence is the Trident missile systems that they have.
Yeah, and I hope the Senate gets through this logjam. As Coach mentioned, the airport and the DHS is not just the airports, it's the Coast Guard, and also with this war ongoing, like probably unwise to have Department of Homeland Security shut down.
You heard him. He said that Chuck Schumer is leading them off the ledge. They hate Trump, and by virtue, they hate the nation so much they're willing to just throw everything out.
Well, and the first full government shutdown really didn't work for them. They thought maybe the partial one will work, especially after ICE got a little rowdy there in Minnesota. They thought, well, we've got the moral high ground now. But I think a lot of folks are not necessarily putting two and two together of, what happened to Renee Good in Minneapolis and why am I waiting 6 hours at the Atlanta airport? There's definitely a disconnect there, and rightfully so. I think there is some hostage taking that is backfiring on the Democrats, and then you got to see if the SAVE Act is actually going to be pushed
through. That's a whole other topic.
So it's what a mess up there. But always appreciate Coach's time. But I see why he wants to come back to Alabama. I'll put it that way.
Listen,
what a mess D.C.
I
is.
worked in D.C. and I can tell you something. It's it sucks the life out of you. It really does.
Yeah. Well, we got to hit this break. But first, this part of the program brought to you by Montgomery Men's Health. And there at Montgomery Men's Health, well, they can help you fellas out, especially if you just don't feel yourself anymore. Could be you're waking up in the morning and you're exhausted. You're like, what in the world? I thought sleep was supposed to be refreshing. Actually, give me rest. Well, maybe your waistline's also creeping. It's not like you're eating more. Just that metabolism's slowing down. You're also seeing confidence throughout life in your job and work, things you used to just breeze through. Like you've done it all before, knew it like the back of your hand. And now the confidence is slipping, including confidence in the bedroom. And by the way, if you notice that, other people notice that. And she, her, she definitely notices that. And here's the thing. You're not the only fella dealing with this. I know some guys feel like it's only me and I can't talk to anybody about it. You're wrong. Instead, you need to get by Montgomery Men's Health, powered by Men's Pro. And whether your issues more general low testosterone issues or ED, low performance in the bedroom, they are a men's performance clinic here in Montgomery, been serving the Montgomery and surrounding areas for years now with in-person care, not those fly-by-night online pill companies. They get labs done quickly. They have urology-backed medicine, and they will create a personalized treatment plan for you. And it depends on where you are in life and what sort of options you want to go with. They have a whole schedule, a whole menu of treatments there. And there are a lot of guys, especially, as you get into your 50s and 60s, you don't feel the same. Well, a lot of guys after getting treatment at Montgomery Men's Health end up feeling decades younger. They got that energy back. They got that confidence back in the boardroom and the bedroom. They're back in the gym, brother. Mm-hmm. So y'all check out Montgomery Men's Health today. You can always make an appointment at 440-3663. That's 440-3663. Or you can book online in under 30 seconds at MontgomeryMen'sHealth.com. Montgomery Men's Health for every man in every season of life.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
For too long, Alabama's statewide news companies have shamed us for our conservative Christian values. Alabama deserves a news company that cherishes our culture, a company that isn't bought and paid for by the powers that be. 1819 News is that company. Run by Alabamians for Alabamians, 1819 News celebrates what is good and beautiful about our state, while exposing those who work against our values in secret. Just go to 1819news.com to learn more. Subscribe to our newsletter. That's 1819news.com.
If you're on a budget and trying to feed your family inexpensively, Pizza Perfect has the deal for you. In March, get a free 2-topping medium pizza with the purchase of any large pizza. Pizza Perfect's buffet includes pizza as well as spaghetti, breadsticks, salad, dessert, and drink, only $13. Buffet is available Monday through Saturday for lunch and for dinner on Tuesday, Friday, and Saturday. Available for pickup and delivery as well. 2-topping medium pizza free with the purchase of any large pizza in March at Pizza Perfect, Coliseum Boulevard, Eastbrook.
A new year brings new opportunities, and right now the market is starting to shift.
Interest rates are beginning to come down, which means more buying power and more options for buyers who've been waiting.
If you're thinking about buying a home, this could be the moment to take that next step.
And whether you're buying, selling, or investing, having experience on your side matters more than ever.
At Hannah and Eddie Realty Group, we're also growing our team.
If you're an experienced agent ready to make a difference in this market and want to be part of a team that values knowledge, support, and results, call Hannah and Eddie Realty Group, where opportunity meets experience.
All the headlines the mainstream media won't touch. Your News Talk station. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. Let's go right to the phones and talk to Papa B. Hey, Papa B, how you doing?
I'm doing great. How you doing, guys?
I'm all right.
How are you, sir?
Congratulations, Joey, on your show. It's just such a spectacular success. And to my warrior poet, Troy, I'm so proud of you.
Thank you, sir.
You lay it down, bud. You lay it. I like to say, laying down microaggression like a thick layer of mayonnaise on a ham and cheese sandwich. You do it.
Wow, that's, you know what, coming from you, I'll take that as a compliment.
Absolutely. I want to talk about the business opportunities that Alabama has. Because I'm telling you, guys, we're sitting on an economic powder keg here that could just really be incredible in this state. But first thing I'd like to say is, beginning of your show, you're talking about liberty and freedom. And, Papa B's take on it is this, that liberty and freedom without the restraint of moral leads to just outright debauchery.
Yeah.
It always spirals down into the lowest common denominator and even, opens the door to all hell. And it does. And that's kind of where we are in this country in a lot of sectors. How to correct that, I'm not going to sit here and try to philosophize about it. I think we all know.
Well, and real quick, as you look at like the founding fathers, like Washington in particular, understood duty, like that liberty and duty are linked forever, eternally linked, and once you realize you have a duty to God, and then because of that, a duty to others, your brothers and sisters in Christ, I think this is. It orients you. I mean, you still got to put your pants on, do practical things. It can't always be, philosophizing in poetry and prayer. But I think if that's your center and if that's our nation's center, we'll do all right.
I think so. And, that doesn't just trickle down to, like, the duty of a military person, but also the duty of every American citizen.
Amen.
Yes, so, but, to the point that Coach Tuberville was talking about, and thank the Lord for Coach Tuberville. I tell you, he's a real blessing. So, there's a couple of opportunities in this state that if we can take advantage of them, it would be amazing. The first one I would tell you is that it would take change, and, change is often very, very painful. But the Atlanta area is full. We cannot expand that airport, not even one more inch.
Right.
It's been, just done. They've done as much as they can to it or with it. An international airport is sorely needed. Another international airport is sorely needed, and Alabama is perfectly situated for it in those vast rural lands over to the west. I know it would be painful for some people, but using the power of the government, of the eminent domain of the government to acquire the land and build the infrastructure or allow the infrastructure to be built for an international airport would be unbelievable. unbelievably.
And it would change that part of the state forever.
And I'll tell you another thing that in Papa B, we need to get aggressively dredging and cleaning out Mobile Harbor. We've lost so many contracts to Savannah and to Jacksonville because they couldn't guarantee the passage of everything down there in terms of the silt and buildup. I think that's a critical piece to us having our seaport maximized as much as it could be.
100%. And, it's not like it's hard to do, but you're dealing with people that are probably very powerful politically, and they would have to be dealt with in some way. But the other thing is power. This state can be the powerhouse for the Southeast, and maybe even, on a regional basis. So we've got, not just water, but also atomic. But let me just point out one other thing. Our refineries are the bottleneck for lower gas prices and, better energy prices in this country. They all have to go through these really literal bottlenecks of, ability to produce fuel. And so, places like Selma would be perfectly suited for additional refinery activity. It's, again, hard to do. Change is hard to do, but it definitely would be able to be done if people had the courage and willpower to do it. But anyway, what do you think about that?
I 100%. It's just a matter of following through that vision, and I believe that's exactly what Coach wants to do. I mean, he's going to be very diplomatic, and leadership is a multifaceted game. It's not just, good sound bites, and I think a lot of his leadership style is listening and picking the right people that he can delegate to. But I know for a fact he really wants to clean up the bureaucracy and the processes that we use so we can see through what you just laid out and more. We need to speed up and we need to move fast and say just a 4-year period, let alone 8 years. So I think it's coming. And I think those are all great ideas. And especially when folks talk about the poverty in West Alabama and how, with this government handout that. No, what you need is deep, long-term infrastructure. And I'm all for I'm all for programs that make those folks whole, by the way, in that part of the state. If you're going to do an eminent domain, there's a great tradition in this country, even private folks. Like, think of James J. Hill with his Great Northern Railroad. He built entire towns up from the ground up just so his own product would work. So I think you could see public-private partnerships, so that name leaves a bad taste in my mouth even saying it from some of the corruption we've seen. But you know what I'm saying. Like, if you actually get a lot of the bureaucracy out of the way and start running this thing like we're in the 21st century, here. I think we're heading in the right direction.
Here's another fun fact for you, Papa B. Alabama is the only state in the union that has all the natural resources to make steel.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, you're right. That's exactly right.
I'd like to see some more steel production back here.
I got to hit my top of the hour break.
Right,
appreciate it, man.
Thanks a lot.
See you.
We got Alan Mendenhall coming up. First, this part of the program brought to you by Invista Advisors, and they're at Invista Advisors. Austin Barenko and the great team there are ready to help you put together a holistic financial plan. Of course, that includes investment strategies, asset management, and Austin runs the brokerage desk there. You've heard Brant McDonald on these airwaves with Greg Budell for years, is the mind behind so much of this. And then, of course, they also have CPAs, business consultants, along with those investment advisors. So wherever you are in life, whether you're starting a family, need to get life insurance together, or plan for your kids, or it could be you're looking at long-term, like end-of-life considerations, or maybe you're in the middle of life and a lot of your money's tied up in a business or something. They can help you across the board there at Invista Advisors. It all starts with a conversation, though. Just call them up at 387-0094. That's 387-0094. And be sure to tell them that Joey, that fella on the radio, sent you. Coming up, we have Alan Mendenhall. I believe he's jumping onto the stream from Auburn, Alabama.
Oh, he's over
there at the Mises Institute.
Mises Institute.
Beautiful place. So we'll be right back with Alan.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusana, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With SRN News, I'm Bob Agnew in Washington. President Trump has extended his deadline for Iran to reopen the Strait of Hormuz. He says U.S. will hold off on any power plant strikes for 5 additional days. That de-escalation was taken as a very positive sign for the global oil markets. They went down, prices did, for a short time, at least in early trading, and that sent stock prices higher on Wall Street. Right now, the Dow is up by 644 points, the NASDAQ up by 258, and the S&P 500 is up by about 73. Hundreds of immigration officers will be deployed to U.S. airports to help with security. The expanded role comes as TSA screeners have worked more than a month without paychecks because of a budget impasse in Congress. In recent days, travelers have been impacted by being forced to wait many hours in airport security lines before they can catch their flight. This is SRN News.
Maybe this is you too. There's enormous frustration right now with healthcare costs. It is amazing. Healthcare costs for families in the last 20 years have almost tripled, and it just keeps getting worse. All this to say, this is why MediShare is so in demand right now. People are looking for alternatives, and MediShare is proven you can save thousands of dollars a year and actually like it more. Over 1 million Americans are now part of healthcare sharing, and MediShare is the gold standard. It's trusted. It works. It's been helping people save money and have peace of mind now for 30 plus years. It's not some big impersonal thing either. It's a community of people like you helping each other. So yeah, if you're frustrated too, here's your chance to make a refreshing change. You'll notice the difference as soon as you call. They're easy to talk to. You can get a price within 2 minutes. Here is the number. Call 844-94-BIBLE. That's 844-94-BIBLE. 844-94-BIBLE.
Weather, a service of H&H Carpets, where right now, get a load of this, listen close, you get a house full of carpet for $19.95 installed. Unbelievable. They're located at 6450 Atlanta Highway, just across from Walmart.
Rich Thomas weather.
Well, hi, everybody. As we start this brand new week, look for another warm day today with a high temperature in the lower 80s, plenty of sunshine. We got a weak cool front that'll be sweeping through the state, so I think tonight will be cooler. Overnight low temperature down to about 50. Tuesday will be noticeably cooler, breezy with a high temperature only in the lower 70s. I've got us around 73 Tuesday, 71 on Wednesday. There is a chance of an isolated shower somewhere in the area on Tuesday night. Otherwise, it's a dry forecast this week, and we're back to the low to mid 80s on Thursday and Friday before a weekend cool down. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
From the Blue Water Broadcasting News Center, here's today's top stories. Montgomery Police Chief Jim Grabois says the department is seeing measurable progress in public safety efforts. At his Friday news conference, Grabois said MPD has arrested 131 people on felony charges so far this year. Grabois stated violent crime is down 16%, robberies are down 38%, and property crimes are down 17% so far this year. A man is dead following a single-vehicle crash in Montgomery County Sunday morning. The accident happened about 15 miles north of Troy, where 71-year-old Charles Summerlin was fatally injured when his vehicle left the roadway and struck a tree. Summerlin was pronounced dead at the scene. A Montgomery teenager was arrested Saturday in connection to multiple vehicle break-ins in Millbrook. 19-year-old Kenneth Graves is the third suspect charged in connection to multiple vehicles being broken into during softball tournaments at Mill Creek Park in November. Graves faces additional charges stemming from an armed robbery in Millbrook earlier this month. From the Blue Water Broadcasting News Center, I'm Sky Mosley.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368. An equal housing lender.
Hi, I'm Carl Schmidt, naturopath and owner of the Herb Shop Wellness Center at 8161 Vaughan Road. You know, with over 30 years experience in natural wellness, I've seen countless health fads come and go. A few years ago, we added a patented technology that actually activates your stem cells. It reverses the aging process at the cellular level. However, you do need proper hydration and targeted nutrition. At the Herb Shop, our advanced scanning and testing technology allows us to accurately assess your nutritional needs and get a customized plan for you. Come in today and see what the Herb Shop can do for you.
Hey, can you blow up some balloons for Jack's party?
I can't. I'm so congested.
You need Sinex Saline from Vicks.
Sinex Saline Nasal Spray.
Yeah, just Sinex. Breathe.
Sinex Saline instantly clears everyday congestion associated with colds and year-round allergies with a gentle, ultra-fine mist that's no mess and easy to control.
Daddy, we need more balloons.
On it.
Enjoy life's important moments without congestion. Try Sinex Saline from Vicks. Just Sinex. Breathe. Use as directed.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's News and Views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. I'm your host, Joey Clark. Troy Carrico here in the studio with me.
I like this stuff. It's really good, man.
Thanks, man. Just kind of lazy, me playing my acoustic guitar into an AI software. Joining us now, we have Alan Mendenhall. Alan, can you hear us? Can you see us, kind sir?
I can hear you. I can see you. Y'all look great. That music was good. I agree. It's great.
He's talented. Alan, he's talented.
Well, it is nuts. Like, seriously, the new AI music software, I have a thing, and I could play what you just heard on acoustic guitar, but then you could play that direct in and then put in prompts. So I think I put sparse production, horn stabs.
Nice.
And it just, in seconds, rolls this out. I know there are a lot of professional musicians, and my point to them would be like, guys, we still need people to actually play instruments, so whatever is made.
Put the input, someone's got to do the inputs before AI.
Exactly.
Alan, he's like Boston. They were a studio band, but he really is more than a studio band.
So, number one, great to see you, sir. And you're joining us from the Mises Institute over there in Auburn.
Yeah, I was at the Austrian Economics Research Conference over the weekend, which is one of my favorite annual events. And of course, the Mises Institute is right here in my backyard. It is the home of Austrian economics in the world. And I saw Clay Barnett there, an old friend of mine. I've done a lot of stuff with the Mises Institute over the years, an associated scholar there. I said, hey, Clay, would it be possible for me to use the studios this week? Because I'm going on Newsmax this afternoon after your show. And Clay was like, yeah, let's do it. So here I am.
Love it. Love it.
I love it, too.
Now,
can I
tell
say
us,
one thing about
yeah.
Tuberville? I just want to say one thing about Tuberville because it's really an honor to follow him on the show. And I love that he still goes by coach rather than senator because to me, that reveals something about the way he views his role in public life. And it's not as some faraway, distant office holder, but as a hands-on leader who shapes and guides a team, and I love it. I love it. He'll probably be Coach Tuberville as governor. And I think that's awesome.
I think he prefers it, actually. Now, I want to move to some of what you've been writing about. You've got a trending piece today about the Alabama Supreme Court, sort of a follow-up on your taking on the American Bar Association. But I want to go with what you did last week about the Corporate Equality Scorecard, or what do they call it, the Corporate Equality Index pushed by the Human Rights Campaign. Seems like a lot of Fortune 500s are tired of this stuff.
Yeah, so I've got the article right in front of me, so I can say, let's see, 65 fewer Fortune 500 companies chose to participate in the index this year. That number fell from 377 to 131. This is unbelievable. And there are other corporations that still have high scores, but the high scores are unverified scores, which suggests that those companies are not actually participating in the index. Their scores are holdovers from previous years. And let me just tell you what you have to do to get a 100 score. You have to have insurance covering what I call sex-rejecting surgical procedures, but what that really means is you have to have insurance coverage for transgender surgeries or puberty blockers for minors, that kind of thing. Gender ideology affirming restrooms. You have to use pronouns. And by the way, the University of Wisconsin used to have this hilarious chart, which it presented in all seriousness, of all the pronouns that were out there. And I don't remember how many on there, but it was just like this gigantic chart. I'm like, who can do, like, whatever happened to just he or she? They're just two options. Like, but this had, like, I don't even know how many, but it was impossible to navigate as a chart. And you had to have mandatory LGBTQ trainings for staff. You had to do all those things to get 100. So firms like Regions Financial that used to have a 100 have now dropped to 60. And so not only has Regions dropped to 60, but it's an unverified 60. So that shows that Regions is not actually even participating in the Corporate Equality Index anymore. But for years and years, the HRC would just bully corporations. And corporations felt that they had to get these high scores on the CEI, or they get boycotted, or whatever it was. And now the inverse is true. Now it is a liability for you to participate in the HRC's CEI. I know those are a lot of acronyms, but to participate in this Corporate Equality Index. And I would encourage everybody in Alabama to visit the HRC's website to look up the Corporate Equality Index and see what Alabama firms are on there and call them up. And if they don't have an unverified score, but they have a verified score, stop doing business with them, institute your own pressure campaign, tell all your friends, don't shop at these places, don't go there, don't bring your business to these places. I mean, it used to be Alabama hospitals were pretty bad. UAB was unreal how bad UAB was.
Yeah, and so it sounds like this was much more than like you better enforce non-discrimination laws and employment law or something like that. This was across the board, try to shape the culture through an outside pressure campaign. And can folks check at what you mentioned in the article, the 1792 exchange?
Yes, everybody should go to the 1792 exchange. It's got this, we're looking for the name of it, the Back to Business Tracker. So check out the Back to Business Tracker. I do a lot of work with 1792 exchange. And at the Heritage Foundation, as you know from previous shows, we're doing a lot of shareholder engagement where we're filing shareholder proposals at these companies. And we rely on the 1792 exchange's database. And we look up what these corporations are doing because 1792 exchange has done a ton of research on these organizations. And in fact, when we do these shareholder engagements, often we will invite somebody from 1792 exchange to sit in on the meeting with us. Often we'll invite somebody from Alliance Defending Freedom to sit in on the meeting with us. Sometimes we'll have them both in on the meeting so we could say, look, 1792 exchange has this data and ADF is ready to sue if you do something that we don't like here. So, we come with a posse, they bring a posse, and it's a great experience, to be honest. I think I mentioned earlier in a previous show that our engagements have ended up being actually quite friendly for the most part, with the exception of a couple corporations, Amazon, Starbucks. But with the exception of those two, most of our engagements have been pretty positive and professional, and we've got a good rapport now with the companies, and maybe we can negotiate things in the future as shareholders without even having to file a shareholder proposal.
And what a change after 6 years. There's a time there in 2020 where, say you're going to go to the grocery store and buy a Snickers bar. Is it just going to be a complete black wrapper in honor of, the George Floyd? Or is it going to be a safer at home sort of theme thing? Or is it going to be rainbow flags? And you just never knew. And it's good to see, some of these major corporations, these Fortune 500s realizing, we could just, have our own brand and people like us because people like Cracker Barrel because it's, good down-home country eating like breakfast. People like Coca-Cola because it's Coca-Cola. You don't recreate the wheel, just be who you are.
Yeah, exactly. And what I like to tell people about our shareholder engagement is we're not trying to turn every corporation into Chick-fil-A or Hobby Lobby. Those corporations are great and they actually do their business better than other competitors do it. But we're trying to get companies back to neutral. We're trying to get them to focus on their core business purpose, to focus on profit maximization, to focus on fiduciary duty, because we don't want to just do what the left did in reverse, because if you're using shareholder money for social causes, that's a form of theft. That's a form of misallocation of resources away from the core business purpose. And so that's not great either. From a managerial perspective, we might do research that says, hey, if you manage your company in this way and you have this type of organizational culture, you'll have a superior company. But as shareholders, we're not engaging companies to turn them into like right-wing versions of whatever left-wing version we're trying to correct. We're trying to get them back to, as I said, core business purpose, fiduciary duty, profit maximization.
Joey and I were talking earlier today, and I think I kind of deep dove into the index, and I love it because it's not a very narrow band. It's pretty broad band, from freedom of religion, the things that you are covering in there and the requirements really gives you, I think, a good footprint on what these corporations are doing. And my question to you is this: do you think you were talking about in your paper, your recent paper, that there's been a huge shift of companies disengaging from the practices of that? Do you think that's temporal, meaning the environment is such that it's that way, or do you think they are genuine in what they're doing?
Well, it's hard to tell because whether they're genuine, just because a corporation consists of so many people and you can't access in their heads. It's like when you're trying to do legislative intent or something, and you can't like get in every legislator's head to know what it is, and that's why we have originalism. But like, I will say some of it is no doubt a response to the Trump administration. Yeah. For example, we engaged with a bunch of federal contractors doing DEI, and after the Harvard UNC admissions decision, it's very difficult for not just universities, which can't discriminate on the basis of race, but it's difficult for companies to justify DEI because DEI requires companies to discriminate on the basis of race, which is a surface level characteristic. It is an immutable characteristic that you're born with, that you cannot choose. And we want to evaluate people on merit. We want to evaluate people on their intent, on the things they choose, not on things they can't help, like the color of their skin. And in fact, that's what DEI does, is it classifies people on the basis of race, which is an immutable characteristic. And that's why it is fundamentally so evil.
Hear, hear. Now, I want to shift gears to the piece that came out today, and this is a follow-up to you essentially telling Alabama in the Supreme Court here in Alabama, you don't have to have the American Bar Association be this accrediting monopoly here. You already do approve a lot of other law schools, but it sounds like you got some rebuttal to that and commentary back at you, and you're now rebutting the rebuttals. Let's go over this and how the Supreme Court here in Alabama is fine enough. Thank you very much. They can actually do the job probably better than the ABA.
Well, yeah, the interesting reaction was people saying, well, the Alabama Supreme Court's not equipped to do this. Our Supreme Court's not good enough. Our Supreme Court's not smart enough. I'm like, no, it is. We've got highly competent justices up there, and they already regulate the profession. It's their constitutional duty. Some people think that the Alabama State Bar is like the regulatory apparatus, but it answers to the Alabama Supreme Court. And by treating the Alabama State Bar that way, it's like the tail wagging the dog. No, the Supreme Court is the ultimate authority for the judicial branch in our state. And it can decide whether to let graduates of a non-ABA school sit for the Alabama Bar. And in fact, it does so. For a long time, it let graduates of a Korean law school named Handong Law School sit for the state bar. And I like that because Handong was a Christian law school. It has an American legal education. Its students come over here and clerk for our justices all the time, and we've got a great relationship. For a long time, its dean was a guy named Eric Enlow, who has since moved back to the United States, but a very Christian man, Christian conservative guy, and that was a great arrangement. But we let students from Miles and Birmingham College of Law sit for the bar, and those aren't ABA accredited. And really, it's a very simple thing. We do what Texas did and what Florida did. We say, look, we're no longer going to recognize the ABA as an accreditor. It's basically an ideological activist group at this point. And we're going to, from henceforth, say at this moment, everybody that's ABA accredited from now is grandfathered in, and we'll let all those schools sit. But from henceforth, we will make a determination whether to add or subtract schools. We're going to take the roughly 180 schools on the list and start with those, but we may add some, we may take some away for whatever reasons. I mean, we've had a lot of law schools close over the last 10 years, so like, you take away Charlotte, you take away Savannah Law School, you take away those types of places and they're just gone, but you can add some if there's some good ones to add.
Yeah, and it just also seems to go what's happened in the 20th century and hopefully is unwinding here in the 21st century. It's not just centralization in government, but a lot of these informal regulatory bodies ended up becoming the central de facto monopoly. And in order to have, say, professional standards, like maintain high standards for lawyers on a professional level, it almost seems like you would need more than just one spot because there's a single point of failure and capture. And so to me, you're sitting there at the Mises Institute, this idea of where you could have sort of a spontaneous order, including in something like regulating lawyers, makes a lot of sense to me and probably will create a better product at the end of the day.
Yeah, and actually these state bar associations started springing up in the early 20th century as a sort of discriminatory apparatus. They sprung up to be anti-competitive by nature because the legal profession started seeing entrepreneurs spring up, and these entrepreneurs, they weren't white or they weren't, rich. They were poor people, and they were really entrepreneurial, and the bar was threatened by this, and they said, "Oh, look, we gotta set some standards." Now, and the standards could be anything from now you have to pass a bar exam. Oh, in order to sit for a bar exam, you have to go to 3 years of law school. Oh, and the requirements just kept getting heavier and bigger, and these are barriers to entry. This is just classic kind of public choice stuff. These are barriers to entry, and it means it becomes more expensive to be able to be initiated into the incumbent firm's world, ecosystem. And as it becomes more and more expensive to become a lawyer, these costs get passed off onto consumers who have to pay more for services that shouldn't cost that much. And in the day of AI, let me tell you, there are a lot of people that are just going to be writing their own wills. In Alabama, you don't need an attorney to write your will. You can write your own will. And you're going to see a lot more people chat GPTing their will because they're not going to want to pay an attorney because the costs are just too much. Would they be better off having an attorney look at the will? Absolutely. I'm sure they would be, especially somebody that does trust in estates. Anybody that has complex assets or anything like that would definitely be better off hiring an attorney. But if you've got a pretty simple arrangement, you could just chat GPT it and probably be just fine. And you're going to see that because the costs are so high.
I'm a Grok man, though. ChatGPT gives me the creeps. It's almost too suggestive, and whereas Grok's just a little more fun.
Agreed.
But either way, I get your point's well taken, and I think you need to open up things not only for a better product, but just more access in general. And I think that is just a problem that's bedeviled the system since it began. Of the rich seem to get better representation. The rich seem to be able to hold certain doors and gates. And that's an unfortunate thing. And so whether it's modern technology or just opening things up into law, I think it's a better approach.
Hey, I have a confession to make real fast to both of you. I just started The Theory of Capital by Menger again, and I got to tell you something. I remember why I like the military sciences better than the economic sciences. I just want to say that.
But at least the Austrians are easier to. You can actually read them. They actually are good with the word.
They are.
As opposed to
it's pretty dry.
Some other stuff. But
it's funny. It was 2 weeks ago. I was defending Hayek's prose to somebody because I actually tend to like Hayek's prose, and then somebody sent me a sentence, and I looked at it. I was like, okay, well that sentence is indefensible. I'm not going to defend that sentence, but I wouldn't take that one as representative either.
Right. Well, folks don't know what we're talking about. Go pick up a basic book by, say, Murray Rothbard, and it's engaging. It's half the time you can feel the guys fist punching through the page. There are a lot of great writers in the Austrian tradition, and there are. Even when it's high theory, I think it's really great stuff. I didn't know you were reading Menger.
I was a political science major. I have a master's degree in political science from Ole Miss, and I went to law school at the University of Dayton for a year. So I was exposed to a lot of capital theory and that stuff, and I thank God for people like you, Alan. That's what I'm going to say.
Well, if the best thing that could possibly happen from this show, we've talked about the bar, we've talked about the corporate equality, would be people buying a bunch of books by Menger right now and reading it. That would be awesome.
Amen. Now, again, folks, we've been talking to Alan Mendenhall. He's a research fellow at the Thomas A. Rowe Institute for Economic Policy Studies and senior advisor Free Enterprise Initiative there at the Heritage Foundation. And folks want to check out your work, Alan. I know you, of course, weekly there at 1819 News on Monday mornings, but you have a lot of work that is published all over the place, right?
I do, yeah. It's my website is alanmendenhall.com, ALLENMENDENHALL, and I post all my writings there. I'm probably going to take the videos off because now I do news as like my job, and so I'm doing this several times a week, and there are too many videos to post, so I'm going to just take all the videos off and stick with the writings up there. But yeah, that's the best place.
Well, I always appreciate your time, Alan, and we'll talk again soon. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, you guys are awesome. Thank you.
Yep. Again, that's Alan Mendenhall. Always appreciate his time, and yes, he is awesome.
He's just got he's just so positive and so on it, man. He's
got a great sense of fashion and style. He's just a full, life force.
He's a man amongst men, and I will say this: he doesn't know how to clean his office though, because he used the power blower. Remember that? That was the funniest thing. But he goes, I can't find anything. It's everywhere.
Well, we got to hit this break. We'll be right back, folks, after this.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings 6 till 9 and afternoons 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Welcome to Eclectic Coins, Montgomery's largest coin dealer, specializing in buying and selling investment-grade gold and silver coins. And they have a large selection of rare coins and coins from around the world. Visit them at 543 Northeastern Boulevard or on the web at eclecticcoins.com. Eclectic Coins, where collectors who know go.
The 22nd Annual Autism Crawfish Boil, benefiting Easter Seals of Central Alabama, is April 11th at Riverwalk Stadium. Proceeds from this fun family event benefit autism programs at Easter Seals of Central Alabama. Enjoy all-you-can-eat crawfish, live music, and even a baseball game. The Autism Crawfish Boil, April 11th at Riverwalk Stadium. Stay and eat or grab them to go. Scan or visit mudbugball.com to purchase tickets and get info on curbside pickup.
Hi, this is Bo Goodson from the Goodson Group with your Real Estate Minute. Here in the River region, thousands of hardworking folks will be buying a home, some for the first time. How do you know you are buying the right home? It starts with research. A buyer's agent can help you in your search, providing a list of homes you may not be aware of or know about. At the same time, a meeting with a local lender to find out exactly what you qualify for and how much it will cost at closing and monthly. A list of needs and wants provided to your agent will help them locate properties that match those needs. An example would be bedrooms, baths, school zones, floor plan requests will also help. Start shopping and look at homes and compare and make a list of pluses and minuses for each home. Compare them with your agent to narrow the field. After you work out the contract, appraisals and inspections come next, and then the closing. For more details, call Bo Goodson at the Goodson Group, 221-2883. That's 221-2883.
2026 marks 60 years that hope has had a home in Alabama. At the Alabama Sheriff's Youth Ranches, children who've lost everything through no fault of their own have found something priceless. A safe place to live, a loving Christian family, and the chance to simply be kids again. Here, boys and girls grow up surrounded by care, guidance, and faith, learning right from wrong, learning responsibility, learning they are valued and that their lives have purpose. As the Alabama Sheriffs have believed for 6 decades, it's easier to build boys and girls than to repair men and women. These former ranchers are now teachers, parents, business owners, and leaders, living proof that love, structure, and faith can change a life forever. As the Alabama Sheriff's Youth Ranches celebrate 60 years of serving Alabama's children, you can help ensure the next child has the same chance. Learn how you can make a difference at alabamasheriffsyouthranches.org. 60 years of building lives, and we're just getting started.
I was in foot pain for 20 years, trying to give it relief, buying all these different insoles. Drugstore insoles, custom insoles. I spent thousands of dollars. I bought all these products, and not a single one worked. I really, truly needed to have relief in my feet. and the Good Feet arch supports were what gave me the relief I needed.
For over 20 years, we've been helping people like Teresa actually live the life they love without their feet getting in the way.
They wanted to make sure that I got something that my feet felt good in, not somebody else's feet. I love the fact that I can wear these arch supports in all my shoes. I have boots, I have cowboy boots, I have running shoes, I have walking shoes, I have flat shoes, I have heels. It makes me so happy. If you ask my husband, he will crack up because there is no store I would rather go in than a shoe store. I'm Teresa, and that's my Good Feet story.
See what we can do for you with a free personalized arch support fitting at the Good Feet store.
We're located at 7341 East Chase Parkway in the shops at East Chase. Now hiring.
Are you tired of the mainstream media's biased reporting? Do you want to stay informed on the news that really matters to you? Look no further than 1819 News. At 1819 News, we bring you the latest in Alabama news, politics, sports, culture, and more. We've assembled a team of journalists with Alabama values dedicated to the truth and the truth alone. Visit us at 1819news.com today. That's 1819news.com. Subscribe to our newsletter. Honest News, Alabama Values. This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368, an equal housing lender.
We get Montgomery talking 24 hours a day. The River Region's most trusted voice. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. I'm here as Joey Clark. Troy Cherico here in the studio with me. Again, Catherine Robertson, who is running to be the next Attorney General of the great state of Alabama. She'll join us a little after 2 o'clock. And now, real quick, let's go back to Washington, D.C., put our focus there. This happened a few days back, maybe over the weekend. I don't know exactly when. But this is Senator John Kennedy, one of our favorites. I think anybody who's a conservative and likes a good soundbite, as well as a fella who kind of is doing the old school Southern politician thing. Not many folks doing that anymore.
No, and he's pretty smart. He plays his "oh shucks" macchiato.
Macchiato, sort of thing. Yeah. But this is Senator Kennedy. He's trying to get through a bill that essentially says if you're not going to pay government workers, then we shouldn't get paid.
I like that.
And all of a sudden, and essentially this is the force to open back up the TSA and the Department of Homeland Security. Right. As he's trying to present his amendment, another senator blocks it initially and then runs out of the room.
The resolution be agreed to, and the motion to reconsider be considered made and laid upon the table.
Is there an objection? The objection is heard.
And then you see the chair kind of...
It's like, who is it?
His head tilts to that guy who objected, just runs right out of the room. And Kennedy, you'll hear it here in a second, is flabbergasted.
This is so funny.
Bumfuzzled by this. One of my favorite words.
Bumfuzzled.
With respect, I want to give my senator, my colleague, Senator Schatz, more time. As he objected and left the chamber, is he coming back? Well, wait, just one second. I mean, is he
quick question?
Is he ill?
He's calling him out. I love it.
What should I do, Mr. President?
What should I do?
Mr. President, point of order. Is it appropriate for someone not to be recognized to just say, I object and run out? The senator's not been recognized. The senator had the floor, the senator from Louisiana, who's made a proposal, and then I heard some noise in the background, and that was it. But I never heard a senator being recognized, so it sounds to me that no one has been recognized to object.
It's Barrasso doing a point of order.
Could we get a ruling, Mr. President? I don't want to be unfair to anybody. My Democratic colleagues, I told them ahead of time
An objection was raised and an objection was heard.
So should we give Senator Schatz more time to come back, or? Should we give him more time to come back and explain? Wait, I see the parliamentarian giving us.
And so it's like,
What
well,
a shameful,
just
shameful
runs
group
right
of
out of the
people.
room.
Shameful cowards.
What a mess, man. Absolutely what a mess. And so things still not getting done. So here, let's go. This was Senator Britt.
Yeah.
On, I believe, Fox with Peter Ducey was hosting the show. So, yeah, Fox Sunday Morning, but it was Peter Ducey, young Peter.
I like him.
And, yeah, what's not to like about young Peter?
He's so affable.
Yeah. Like, and, you know, I like him better than his dad, I have to admit.
Yeah.
I like him a little better than Daddy.
That's like saying cat poop's better than dog poop.
Yeah, there you go. Now, here's Senator Britt taking on a lot of these Senate-based issues. Let's listen in.
Yeah.
And let me say this, Peter. I believe if Congress wasn't getting a paycheck right now, that they would be much more eager to find a solution about this. And I believe John Kennedy has a bill, and it says that if we don't do our job, and that if people aren't getting paid in the government that have stepped up to serve the United States government, then Congress shouldn't get a paycheck either. I firmly support that. And I think that if that moved through the Senate and the House, that ultimately people will be much more eager to find a resolution. And I am all for it.
I want to ask you about something else. The other big story this week, which is Epic Fury.
Yeah.
It continues. You spent a lot of time with President Trump. I want to play a soundbite of something that he told me about the Iran war in the Oval Office this week.
He said twice today that you talked to another former president about the Iran strikes. Was it George W. Bush?
No.
Was it Bill Clinton?
I don't want to say. I don't want to say. Because
Barack Obama.
a member of a party, and they have trumped arrangements ended them all.
None of these former presidents will own up to that. My guess is Bill Clinton.
Okay.
What's your guess?
Well, here's what I guess is that in the last 47 years, not one American president has had the courage and the moral clarity to execute in the way that Donald Trump has. So
Redirect.
I think they all wish
Well
that
done.
they had taken action, because you look at the countless number of American lives, the tragedy that has ensued because of
Yeah, she's too message disciplined to go for Peter's bait there.
She would take it.
I love that some folks said it was the painting of Andrew Jackson that was talking to him.
Well,
Like,
was
do
the
it,
ghost of
Donald.
Old
Do
Hickory.
it.
Ghost of
Yeah,
Old
Old
Hickory.
Hickory. Yeah.
Do it, Don.
Are you a man or not? Like, goodness.
Tell them
gracious.
they've made the laws, now enforce it.
Yeah, like, yeah, we'll see. Trump, I guess, is the one who has the guts.
He does.
But on Operation Epic Fury, there's one fella that just, it's never going to be enough. I'm sorry. It's never going to be enough for Lindsey Graham. It's never going to be enough for Lindsey. I love women, but I love war. Like
I was in the Army. I was a JAG officer.
What is that? I mean, they're great JAG officers,
Oh, no,
right?
but they're not. They're combat service support. They're not out there having to go grunt through and fight through the stuff. You know, he's like, send them. We can take it. Kharg
By
Island.
the way, that's too easy of a joke. A Jag off?
Jag off. That's
That's too
good.
easy. That's
Hey,
just right
don't
there.
listen to him. He's a JAG off.
Yeah, it's just right there. Anyway.
JAG officer. JAG off. Good. Nicely done.
This is Lindsey.
I see what you did.
Making an allusion to World War II because it's his favorite thing to do. If we did it in World War II, we can do anything. I'm like, a lot of people died in World War II, man. And though I tend to agree with you, Troy, we are soft. I think we also have, like, can you imagine, like, say, not just World War II, World War I? Like, yeah, just go in there and go into that meat grinder stuff. I think there are just people today who are like, no, there are smarter ways of going about things. We don't need to have all these folks die. But listen to Lindsey. I believe what happens in this interview is somebody brings up the Wall Street Journal saying, here's potentially what could happen if the Marines take Kharg Island. And Lindsey does not take kindly to the, let's say, brainstorming and thinking through all the angles there, the wargaming of the Wall Street Journal. Let's listen in.
Obliterated, and they're running out of money. So here's what I tell President Trump. Keep it up for a few more weeks. Take Kharg Island, where all of the resources they have to produce oil. Control that island. Let this regime die on a vine.
Is this going to, though, take Kharg Island? Is it going to involve U.S. troops on the ground? Let me just read you something from The Atlantic. Does an assessment on that. They say U.S. troops may well take Kharg Island. We believe their ability to do so, but only to endure ballistic missile strikes, drone attacks, petrochemical smoke, all without a reliable means of obtaining logistical support. The result could be a grinding war of attrition. They talk about how far away they would be from resupply.
I'm sort of tired of all this armchair quarterbacking. This has been an amazing military operation. God bless the fallen.
But it's a difference when we talk about troops on the ground.
I trust the Marines, not that guy. I trust DOD. We got 2 Marine expeditionary units sailing to this island. We did Iwo Jima. We can do this. The Marines, my money is always on the Marines. I don't know if you take the island or you blockade the island, but I know this. The day we control that island, this regime, this terrorist regime, has been weakened. It will die on a vine. And here's what I want to do. I want to get with Chris. I want to sprint to peace. As the war winds down, I want peace to ramp up. The reason we don't have Saudi Arabia and Israel making peace is October the 7th, 2023. Iran, through Hamas, attacked Israel, stopping normalization. I want to take up and complete what Biden started. As soon as we get Iran defanged so they can never do another October 7th, I want to start up peace talks between Saudi and Israel this year. I want a peace deal between Saudi and Israel normalizing, ending the Arab-Israeli conflict. It's been going on for 2,000 years this year, and you can't do it with a lethal Iran. So we're weeks away from this Iranian regime not having the capability to stop peace.
Okay, very quickly, though, because
Yeah, but that's not even addressing the possible concerns of actually running that operation. And we'll see. It sounds like Trump is trying to not have to do that, let's say, to get this thing settled beforehand.
Yeah, I think that there's a degree of it's somewhere in between what he's saying. And I think, though, I'm of the school of thought. We've come this far. There's nothing that I think Iran will be able to put into action through words that they are not going to stop their pursuit of the things that they've been doing. And they do not recognize the right for Israel to exist. And this current regime must be capitulated in order to really declare success here. Otherwise, you're going to have more and more Shia fundamentalism just as a result. So,
no, but it's interesting. You hear Lindsey Graham say a few weeks.
Yeah.
You hear Tuberville say a couple weeks.
Yeah.
And you had Senator Britt saying, well, I think she said courage.
Yeah.
I would say balls. President had the balls to roll the dice on this. It's a risky thing anytime you do such a major operation. And, well, we'll see how it turns out. But, yeah, that's my hope is this thing is done soon.
Testicular fortitude, as we call it.
Indeed, we got to hit this break. This part of the program brought to you by Pest Pro Services. And they're at Pest Pro. Ashley and that fantastic team are ready to help you out. You know, we had that cold snap. Well, now the
back.
Insects are back.
Wasp everywhere.
Oh, yeah, man.
I was thinking of you. I go, I bet they're buzzing Joey right now.
They buzzed me as I was on the way out the door today. I'm like, dadgummit. I'm going to get you guys. But, of course, Pest Pro can take care of you. Have any major problem, just need that basic pest control coverage. And, of course, it could be wasp is what's your problem, or maybe you want the yard treated for fire ants. Maybe you're tired of cockroaches or
mosquitoes.
And maybe it's been too long since you've had a termite inspection
done.
You
got to have that done.
You're playing with fire in that regard if you don't actually get on top of it. And so what you can do is you can always go to ppsriverregion.com, learn more there about all their different, say, subscription models. They have a basic package, and then on top of that you can add like the termite and the mosquito treatments, and it's a very reasonable, great way to control costs for your pest control needs throughout the year. And, of course, you can always go to Pest Pro Services on the Book of Faces. Just search Pest Pro Services there on Facebook or call them direct, 265-9990. That's 265-9990. And be sure to tell Ashley and that great team that Joey and Troy, those fellas on the radio, sent you.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
Yes?
Yeah, I'm Bill. You called about some breakers tripping?
Oh, yes, Bill. My brother-in-law says you can do almost anything.
That's me. Not much I hadn't seen.
Do you really want someone who does almost anything in your electric box? Think about that, because each year thousands of home fires are caused by faulty wiring. That's why you want a professional, like the electricians at Crosby Electric.
Bill, how's it going? Bill, ooh, are you okay?
Oh, yeah, well, I didn't really need my eyebrows anyway.
At Crosby Electric, all technicians undergo rigorous safety training, as well as background checks, drug testing, and continuing education.
Bill, you think maybe I should call a real electrician?
No, these little slip-ups happen. Everybody does it.
Really?
No, not really. When you need professional electric work, or you just like someone to assess your home for safety, call the experts at Crosby Electric, 272-2085, or visit us at crosbyelectric.com.
This is your roving reporter. Today I'm talking with a man from outer space.
What's up, Earthling?
I see you've landed your spacecraft over there in that field.
That's right, man.
My question is, why have you landed here on our planet?
I came to see David Ernest.
The asset preservationist?
Yeah, man. I wanted to see if he would take a look at my portfolio for me.
Well, before you make the trip over there, call him on his toll-free number, 833-596-7233.
And I understand those last 4 digits spell out the word safe.
That is correct.
Funny thing happened the last time I came to Earth.
What was that?
I went to the Walmart, man.
Yes?
And I accidentally went in the back door.
How did that work out?
Well, they stopped me and very gently told me that I needed to go around front and come in.
And then what did you do?
I said, cool, man. Take me to your greeter.
You flew millions of miles just for that.
Hey, man, I don't ride them. I just read them.
This is Jennifer Pestruccelli, General Sales Manager and co-owner of Blue Water Broadcasting. We're home to 7 radio stations at a rapidly expanding digital marketing platform, and we're looking for our next great sales professional. At Blue Water, you'll build customized campaigns that include radio and targeted digital marketing solutions. You'll prospect new clients, manage your own accounts, and work in a fast-paced, creative environment. Media or digital sales experience is a plus. Send your resume to jobs@bluewaterbroadcasting.com. Blue Water Broadcasting, local folks helping local business.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368, an equal housing lender.
Rich Thomas weather brought to you by M&M Outdoors. Book your stay today at MNMCampground.com for relaxation at its best. It's easy to find and hard to leave. M&M Outdoors, your home away from home.
Rich Thomas weather. Well, hi, everybody. As we start this brand new week, look for another warm day today with a high temperature in the lower 80s, plenty of sunshine. We've got a weak cool front that'll be sweeping through the state, so I think tonight will be cooler. Overnight low temperature down to about 50. Tuesday will be noticeably cooler, breezy with a high temperature only in the lower 70s. I've got us around 73 Tuesday, 71 on Wednesday. There is a chance of an isolated shower somewhere in the area on Tuesday night. Otherwise, it's a dry forecast this week, and we're back to the low to mid 80s on Thursday and Friday before a weekend cool down. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
Feeling the pressure of high credit card rates? ASE Credit Union has you covered with a low 1.99% APR on balance transfers. Move your balances in March or April and lock in that 1.99% rate through your October statement. Visit ASE Credit Union today. Federally insured by NCUA. Terms and conditions apply.
If it concerns your community, you'll hear about it on News Talk 93.1. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Welcome back. I'm your host, Joey Clark. Troy Carrico here in the studio with you. And let's go to the phones at 272-9228. We have joining us Clark. Hey, Clark, how you doing?
Hey, now. How are you doing, Mr. Clark?
I'm all right.
Mr. Carrico, you're well?
I am. If I were any better, I would be twins.
There you go. So, let's see. On Lindsey Graham's comment on Always Bet on the Marines, there was a Wesley Snipes movie in the early 90s, Passenger 51, in which he had the line, always bet on black. I would say always bet on green.
Absolutely.
When the Marines are involved. Mr. Carrico.
Yes, sir.
When you were in service, did you carry a cloth-bound, light green, government-issued notebook on your person every day?
I still have them right. I still have one right here. Of course I do.
Okay. All right. Now, did you have a list of things that were going to be done today in that book every day?
Absolutely.
With boxes next to each one.
Absolutely.
All right. Anybody that has questions about the way that what's going on in Iran is being conducted?
Yeah.
Boxes are being checked and ordered.
Amen,
okay?
brother. Amen.
You know, this business of, well, America's weak because they're negotiating now.
Give me a break.
Yeah. That box was marked down for March 23rd, about a month and a half.
You aren't kidding, brother.
Ago.
Yep.
Now, people talk about Trump plays chess. That's not really right. Because when you play chess, you get a turn, and then your opponent gets a turn, and then you get a turn. And what's happening here is jump, 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 king me. Jump, 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 you're out of checker. Sorry, you lose. You want to play another game?
Yep.
That's the way this is going. And because I'm a little ADD, we'll jump to the SAVE Act.
Mm-hmm.
Now, one thing I've been seeing is the Democrats are saying that the Republicans don't want married women to be able to vote because it's harder to get their identity changed. 10 years ago, didn't Hillary tell us one of the reasons she lost is because men told their wives how to vote? So we're not worried about married women. They got a husband to tell them how to vote our way, so that's not our issue. Just kind of tongue-in-cheek. But anyway. And lastly, Coach Tuberville talked about they want to get the illegals to vote. Okay, if they got the illegals to turn out and vote, that would be great. And don't get me wrong. It's not that they wouldn't like that to happen, but they can't depend on that to happen. The reason they are desperate to keep the illegals is so they can pad the voter rolls to allow for elasticity. If Republicans show up with 500 votes, the Democrats need 501. Now, if they have 400 voters, they have to manufacture 101 votes, and that's where the illegals come in, because by putting them on voter rolls, the motor voter, counting them in census, et cetera, they have the elasticity to allow them to generate votes in given districts. And that's the whole point of sanctuary cities, is to have the ability to pad the voter rolls in the key places where they're going to need those votes to swing both statewide and national elections. And it sounds like splitting hairs, but you have to really understand exactly what the other side is doing and to be able to counter it, right?
All right. And I don't think it's splitting hairs, and I think it's a healthy change in American politics. People are less focused on a narrow issue and starting to see, well, the larger game at play, the structural game at play. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, you know, you hear people talk about, well, they offer packs of cigarettes to come and smoke, and they go round people up and give them rides. They used to be able to win that way, but they cannot win that way anymore. We cannot fight the last war and win the one that's coming.
Well,
we got to figure out how to fight the one that's coming at us.
You have some really good insight. I mean, great insight, Clark. And back to what you were saying. If you are one of the sheeple out there that continue to read the diatribe and the garbage that's being put out by the mainstream media about how we're weak, how we're losing, they don't know poo-poo from Sonola, as they used to say, and that's the truth.
Well, and on one thing, it's to your point, Clark, I don't know if you've heard this. This was Justice Samuel Alito earlier today. Justices are hearing a challenge to receive mail-in ballots after Election Day. Let's listen into Justice Alito.
Lots of phrases that involve two words, the second of which is day. Labor Day, Memorial Day, George Washington's birthday, Independence Day, birthday, and Election Day. And they're all particular days. So if we start with that, if I have nothing more to look at than the phrase Election Day, I think this is the day in which everything is going to take place, or almost everything. And then we have 3 points in time, 1844, 1872, 1914. And we can ask, what would people have thought on those days is meant by this phrase election day? Which of those should we choose? Which of those dates should we choose?
Well, I think you could choose any of the three. I mean, honestly, I think the single best one, if you're just going to choose one, is 1872. And the reason I say that is because 1914 is the latest in time, but that's the one that Congress gave the least thought to.
And so the idea is it's a day, not weeks.
Right.
Especially not days and weeks after the day. The day is the day that you actually have to get this stuff done, which makes a heck of a lot of sense to me.
It is a day, and there needs to be a deadline on that day. Let's pretend that the three of us sat down to play high-stakes poker, okay? Now, we've dealt the hand, we've made bets, we've drawn cards, we've made bets, and you and Mr. Carrico turn your cards over, and that's what you've got. And I look at your cards, and I go, you know what? I'm going to use the bathroom, take my cards with me. I'll show them to you when I get back. Just hang on a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would y'all put up with that?
No.
Now, when we
well, make me think you got an extra ace up your butt.
Really, up your butt.
Yeah. You're laying your cards down now. So when everybody puts their cards on the table, except for, I don't know, 6 or 7 key counties and key states, and they look at everybody else's cards and go, you know, we're not done counting yet, but we're going to let you know as soon as we get them counted. That cannot be tolerated. No.
Right.
If you don't have them ready, that's too bad. You go explain to your voters why you couldn't add 1 to whatever number you had enough time to figure out a total.
Well, Clark, I'm up against a break and got a guest here after the top of the hour, so I appreciate the call.
Keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, buddy.
Or hit this break. This entire hour brought to you by Alabama Home Mortgage. And there at Alabama Home Mortgage, Kim Williams and Madeline Cannon are ready to help you. Folks, you can't control interest rates, housing inventory, or what the national news decides to panic about this week. But what you can control is your timing. You decide when it's right to buy, when it makes sense to refinance. And instead of using like those free online calculators or going to some 1-800 lender or these flashy mailers or spam calls, instead sit down with a great local company like Alabama Home Mortgage. Of course, if you're looking to buy, they can get you a pre-approval that's actually worth what is on the paper. And of course, if you're looking to refinance, they can get you the best possible deal, especially if you're a veteran. Things like for veterans through the VA mortgage program, no benefit, or excuse me,
no down payment.
No down payments is a major benefit. No down payment purchases and 100% cash out refinances. Mm-hmm. So get with Alabama Home Mortgage today. If you've been thinking about it, don't procrastinate. Actually, just get prepared. And they can help you there. We start the conversation at 567-4223. That's 567-4223. Or you can always apply online at myalabamahomemortgage.com. There is a difference in mortgage companies. Let Kim and Madeline prove that to you today. NMLS number 1586368, Equal Housing Lender. We will be right back after this.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings, 6 till 9, and afternoons, 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM, WACV.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368, an equal housing lender.
We know the businesses that keep our communities moving. We walk the same streets, shop the same stores, and support the same local families. Janney King franchise owners take pride in caring for the places they keep our hometown strong. With dependable service, attention to detail, and commitment to doing the things the right way, more businesses are choosing Janney King as their trusted local cleaning partner. Visit JanneyKingCleans.com today.
Janney King, the king of clean.
News and talk without the static. The River Region's most trusted voice. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
I can't get Michael Cohen on the phone.
He must be busy helping people there.
let's tell you about Cohen's Electronics and Appliances. Of course, I'm a customer there.
I know you are.
I was like, I have no credit. I need to build some credit. In fact, I talked to Alabama Home Mortgage and said, Joey, you have no credit. Not bad credit. You have
Just
none.
got to build some, right?
So I went and I always like big TVs, watching movies and stuff, and went and got an 85-incher over there just to finance it and get credit going. And I still love that thing dearly.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, as much as you should love a TV, but it's just freaking great.
Did Michael Jackson come out and set it up?
Yeah, came out and set it up.
Amazing. He had everything.
And they do it right. Yeah, I thought, okay, how am I going to take this 85-incher in my Kia? I don't know if that's the K5 with the red seats.
No, they'll deliver it.
Yeah, so I'm happy. I know my dad has bought from Cohen's. My grandfather has bought from Cohen's. And we're not the only family through generations that has dealt with Cohen's Electronics and Appliances. Again, it could be TV, audio equipment, or maybe you're looking at a new washer-dryer unit or a new refrigerator. They got your back there, and there's a reason they've been serving the community effectively for 60-plus years. The service really makes a difference, especially service after the sale. It don't just mean a week after. It could be the next year or down the road. They can help you there at Cohen's. So check them out today. You can always learn more at thinkcohens.com. Or, of course, you can always stop by. That's, in fact, what I encourage. At 2515 Easter Boulevard here in Montgomery, open 9 to 6. Monday through Friday, 9 to 4 on Saturdays. And find Michael and be like, hey, I heard Joey Clark and Troy Carrico, those fellas on the radio, talking about you. Now, we got to hit this top of the hour break. And joining us, probably 30-minute interview here, we're going to have Catherine Robertson. She is running to be the next Attorney General for the great state of Alabama. Y'all stay tuned.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusada, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With SRN News, I'm Bob Agnew in Washington. President Trump has changed course and says he will now give Iran an additional 5 days to reopen the Strait of Hormuz and will hold off on those threatened strikes on power plants, again, for 5 additional days. Now, that was taken as good news in the international oil market. Oil prices went down, and that sent stocks higher on Wall Street, and they're still way up. The Dow at this hour up by right at 800 points. The Nasdaq up by 331, and the S&P 500 is up by 93. Hundreds of immigration officers, ICE officers, will be deployed to U.S. airports to help with security. Their expanded role there comes as TSA screeners have been working more than a month without paychecks because of a budget impasse in Congress as Democrats refuse to fund the Department of Homeland Security. The president did stress that he has asked ICE agents not to wear their controversial masks while helping at airports. This is SRN News.
I'm Mike Gallagher here, host of the Mike Gallagher Show. As we head into spring, there's some good news in the housing market. Rates have recently dropped. When rates drop, payments can drop. That can mean hundreds of dollars a month back in your pocket, money you can use to pay bills, reduce debt, or strengthen your financial position. That's why this is the time to talk to my friends at Fellowship Home Loans. They're helping homeowners refinance into lower rates and reduce their monthly mortgage payments. Fellowship also offers a fixed rate line of credit for home projects or consolidating a high interest debt with fast approval and a predictable rate. Remember, many people still qualify to skip their next 2 mortgage payments. That's 2 months of breathing room while you reposition financially. I've used Fellowship personally. I trust these guys. Before you make your next move, go to fellowshiphomeloans.com/Mike G, fellowshiphomeloans.com/Mike G, or call 800-510-MIKE, 800-510-MIKE. Fellowship Home Loans, mortgage lending by the book.
Nationwide Mortgage Bankers, DBA Fellowship Home Loans, Equal Housing Lender, NMLS number 8193.
Rich Thomas Weather is brought to you by Alabama Wholesale Lumber. It's more than just great prices on lumber. From Trex decking to energy-efficient windows and Tamco shingles, Alabama Wholesale Lumber has it all.
Rich Thomas Weather.
Well, hi, everybody. As we start this brand new week, look for another warm day today with a high temperature in the lower 80s, plenty of sunshine. We got a weak cool front that'll be sweeping through the state, so I think tonight will be cooler. Overnight low temperature down to about 50. Tuesday will be noticeably cooler, breezy with a high temperature only in the lower 70s. I've got us around 73 Tuesday, 71 on Wednesday. There is a chance of an isolated shower somewhere in the area on Tuesday night. Otherwise, it's a dry forecast this week, and we're back to the low to mid 80s on Thursday and Friday before a weekend cool down. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
Budget Floors and More has the best prices. Carpet as low as 69 cents per square foot. LVP starting at $1.29 a square foot. Sheet vinyl as low as 65 cents per square foot. And the lowest prices on flooring installation supplies. Budget Floors and More across from Delray to Publix.
1819 News.
A Mass will be held this Monday night in Tuscaloosa in memory of University of Alabama student James Gracie. The Mass will be held at St. Francis of Assisi University Parish and will start at 6 p.m. Gracie's body was found last week after he was reported missing 3 days prior in Barcelona, Spain. Gracie was there with a friend on spring break and was returning alone to his Airbnb in the early morning hours of Tuesday when he fell off of a dock into water and drowned. Gracie was attending the University of Alabama and grew up in Illinois. I'll be back with more Alabama stories after this.
Are you enjoying 1819 News? If so, consider joining 1819 News as a member. As a nonprofit news organization, we depend on the support of Alabamians like you. Memberships start out as little as $5 a month, and you'll get access to exclusive content only offered to our members. You'll be supporting independent journalism done by people who cherish Alabama values. Become a member today by visiting 1819news.com and clicking Become a Member. That's 1819news.com and click Become a Member today.
A 13-year-old boy in Lawrence County received a gunshot wound to his shoulder at the hands of his little brother. Police were called to the home on Saturday after the 6-year-old handled a rifle and it accidentally fired and struck his nearby brother, who was then taken by his parents to a nearby hospital for treatment. Authorities are investigating the case. Monday started out with a bomb threat at Huntsville High School. That threat has been determined to be not credible by police. A sweep of the school facilities still was conducted. The schedule at the school will continue as usual. A Dothan man was arrested in Panama City after a shooting occurred on Saturday night at a tourist hotspot. 24-year-old Talvin Mackey was taken into custody after one shot was fired into the air, and Mackey is alleged to have thrown that gun away and fled the scene. No one was injured in that shooting. I'm Andrea Tice.
For more news affecting Alabamians, go to 1819news.com. And while you're there, subscribe to the daily newsletter.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number one in the number two business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
We get this question all the time.
Do you handle that?
Buying or selling a home?
Yes.
Commercial?
Yes.
Land or investments?
Absolutely. Hannah and Eddie Realty Group. One team.
Every real estate move. 334-322-0662.
Pizza's here. Oh, great. I'd love some, but I'm worried about my stomach issues.
If you're worried about having diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose, oily stools, it may not just be stomach issues. It could be a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and talk to your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's News and Views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. I'm your host, Joey Clark, and joining us here in the studio now, she is running to be the next Attorney General for the great state of Alabama. We have Catherine Robertson. Hey, Catherine, good to see you.
Hey there. Glad to be back.
Now, let's do the 101 real quick because, I remember our conversation, but
Sure.
For folks who didn't hear our conversation, number one, what do you do? I mean, who are you and why are you running?
Who am I? Great question. Who in the world are you? So I, for the last 10 years, have served as chief counsel to the current Attorney General, Steve Marshall, which is a job that I obviously love, to be putting myself through a campaign to succeed him. Some people think that I'm running against Steve. To the contrary, he cannot run again. He's already served 2 years longer than you're really supposed to. So, so he's supporting me in my race, which I'm thankful for. But I began my career 20 years ago at the Justice Department up in D.C., later worked for Senator Jeff Sessions on the Senate Judiciary Committee. I've been in the criminal justice policy space for a while, moved back to Alabama when I got married, and joined the Alabama Policy Institute back when Gary Palmer ran it, learned everything I needed to know about state government, hopped over to the AG's office 10 years ago. So I'm originally from Selma, Alabama, where my family's been since 1818, from a agriculture farming background, and just, had a weird moment and decided to run for Attorney General, and here we are.
Well, and how do you think your current role there at the AG's office prepares you to actually be Attorney General?
Well, that's the only reason I'm running. I do not generally want to be in politics. I don't generally want to put my name on the ballot. I'm not that kind of just generally ambitious type person. It is specifically the training that I've had over the last 10 years that made me want to do this. And more specifically, it's just an understanding of the office that you really cannot have unless you're sitting right next to the AG over the course of a decade, and a very interesting decade, a decade where we've dealt with the fallout of the end of Obama, Trump's first term, which is very difficult, a pandemic, 4 years of Biden, the most radical administration we've ever seen, and now Trump again, not to mention everything going on at the state level in the meantime. And so to really, I've just been a student of the office, understanding like the limits or lack thereof in some cases of what we can do, what we ought to be doing, and realizing that there's so much the AG is responsible for that the regular people won't ever know.
Right.
The stuff that you could get away without doing because you don't get any glory for it, but just the ability to have just an impact for good government at the state level. And so I've just fallen in love with the work, but there's just nothing like on-the-job training, and I've had 10 years of it. So that's what got me into the race. And as I'm out making that case to the people of Alabama, I think people get it.
Now, we were just talking off air, and it just came out at 1819. Nia Blanchard's mom saying justice wasn't served, breaks silence on a traumatic murder trial is the way she describes it. And, I was saying thank God at least for the conviction, the murder conviction. But I was wondering, why did this take so long? 'Cause 7 years since her murder, and we now have a pretty good law in the books now to actually speed these things up. But that's not just that case. There's so many of these cases, especially the heinous, awful crimes where families of victims are waiting almost a decade sometimes.
Yeah. Well, first of all, that was a capital case. We went for the, capital conviction and didn't get it. Got felony murder, and we are awaiting sentencing in that case, so we'll see what happens there. But capital cases inherently take a long time because they could result in an execution. And so this case had some additional wrinkles. But one interesting thing about it is that when we passed the Speedy Trial Act 2 years ago, went into effect at the end of the year, this case was the first one that we did a Speedy Trial Act request for. And I'll tell you why that matters. Although there had already been a very long wait, there wasn't a whole lot to speed up, but it did make it a priority. And this case was being tried in Macon County that only has 2 jury weeks a year. And so what the Speedy Trial Act does is it allows us to make a request to the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court to set a specially sitting judge, and if needed, a specially sitting jury to prioritize a violent crime case that's been sitting or cases. And so this was the first one to be tried. So this judge was not local to Macon County. He was one hand-selected by the Chief Justice, which we were thankful for. And these cases get complicated. The defense counsel in this case is also the defense counsel in several other major cases that our office is handling and that other DAs are handling. That in and of itself caused delays. But we could talk for hours about why capital cases take so much time, especially the appellate side of it. But I know Angela and I, his mother, I can't imagine what she's feeling. We did what we could to bring them justice. We know they wanted it to be capital because that was the main way to make sure that the defendant never got out of jail. So we're going to keep fighting to that end.
Now, not to pry too much to the personal side, but it's kind of the nature of my next question, is how do you steel yourself, be steely, be strong? Because some of these cases really are awful when you get to know the family members. And just could you speak to the personal side of this, that, of course, there is prosecuting and executing the laws of the state of Alabama and doing that faithfully. But we're talking about human beings here at the end of the day, and it's those cases, and you're setting a precedent for future people here in this state. So, just weighing that and going through these cases, how do you weigh that?
I think if you lose your humanity about it, then you're not going to be good at this job. I've got to be tough. We deal with rough cases. We deal with complex policy arguments. We deal with executions. You have to be able to talk about those things in a way that sometimes almost feels like you're far removed from the human side of it. But like I said, I know Angela. I've worked with her on several issues over the legislature. I don't want to lose the sensitivity and the compassion there. And I actually think that loss of compassion for victims and the loss of just a sensitivity to what they go through and the fact that that really does stay with you your whole life, that's part of the problem in our society. That's part of the problem with not respecting law enforcement. It's part of the problem with prioritizing the needs of inmates over the crime victims. I mean, people just lose sight of what people go through, and then something happens to you or something happens to a person in a position to make these kind of decisions, and all of a sudden you realize, I mean, if you get robbed at gunpoint and all they take is your purse, that changes your behavior for the rest of your life. You're always going to be looking over your shoulder. You get awakened to someone breaking into your house, that's going to change the way you feel about the security in your home. And so, I mean, you amplify that times a million with the loss of a child. And I think one of the things that I've tried to do in this job is just to make sure that the perspective of the crime victim isn't lost. It's crazy that there's even a need for that, but there is. And so, I don't ever want to lose the human side of this because it makes you ineffective. But yeah, you got to be tough, and I mean, you see a lot.
Well, and sometimes I've been echoing, I've been introducing this fella to Fulton Sheen, but the whole concept that there seems to be this twisted sense of compassion where there's more compassion for the mugger than the mugged, for the murderer than the murdered. And of course, we must have substantive due process. You need,
Of course.
But sometimes I see some of the decisions certain judges make and the emphasis maybe some local DAs make. And it seems to me like the peaceful people in our society who are following the laws and building up lives, they should feel free and not like they're under siege. And I think sometimes the fighting for the human rights, we're letting people privately violate other people's human rights at times, and we're not deterring things.
There's no question. And two, I mean, you can have compassion for the offender. You can have compassion for the fact that, maybe they weren't raised in a stable household. Maybe they didn't have great opportunities. That's fine. You can feel for that. And look, I fully support prison ministries. I fully support, trying to give these people another chance if they deserve one, but not at the expense of public safety. And there has to be consequences. There have to be consequences especially for any type of violence. Violent offenders have a proclivity for violence. They were violent outside of prison. They are usually violent inside of prison, and they are very likely to be violent once they're back out of prison. And so one thing I hate is just the emphasis on compassion, compassionate release, compassion this, redemption, da-da-da-da. Yeah, that's great, but they still have a debt to society that they have to pay, because if there are no consequences and those consequences aren't sure and certain, then there is no deterrence offered by our criminal justice system. So I think that you can even be human towards the people that commit these crimes, but you've also got to understand that they made a decision and there's a consequence for that decision. And you don't just let people out of jail on a feeling or feeling sorry for them, because you're going to end up feeling way sorrier for the people that they victimize.
Yeah, proper love needs justice.
Joey and I talk about one of the solemn responsibilities of the state is, and I think about listening to your words, it's evident to me that of all the offices that are out there that are elected, yours has perhaps the greatest responsibility.
Oh, no question.
And the greatest effect over our population. So heavy is the head that wears the crown.
No doubt. And you always feel like you're not doing enough. And of course, when you're running for a political race, everybody's going to say, well, you didn't do this and you didn't. But look, what I know that we've done over the last 10 years is we have strengthened our criminal justice system in a way that's going to outlast this attorney general, because there are lots of influences for leniency over at the State House. And there are lots of arguments about why people shouldn't be put in prison for a long time, especially when you consider the prison litigation and prison overcrowding, all these things. There are all these arguments for why we should constantly be whittling away at essentially crime and punishment. And one of the roles that I've played over the last 10 years is like I could see it coming. I mean, I participated in prison reform from the think tank side back in 15, 16, and there were some arguments then, do we have the right population incarcerated? Back then, we had about 60% violent, 40% nonviolent. That 40% is a little heavy for nonviolent, right? Because they have a chance of being rehabilitated. Maybe there's some alternatives, whatever. But we did that, and we cleared that low-hanging fruit out of the prisons, and guess what happened? Violent crime stayed high, and now our prisons are full of 80% violent people. And so anytime there were arguments going on at the legislature saying, oh, let's let it, the parole board really needs to parole more people, or we really need to have this early release, or we really need to let these people out early for getting their GEDs in prison. I am over there like fire coming out of my high heels, and I'm like, no, we're done with this. We have done this before. We've let them out who we could, but Steve read an op-ed one time that says something like, we've reformed everybody we can reform. and I agree with that. So one of the jobs, that we've really had is just sort of, strong arming, like, no, we're not going back to those arguments again. We did that. We did what we could, but those arguments are done. And particularly tried to be protective of the parole board.
Now, shifting gears to more the law enforcement side, I believe a bill will be voted on this week. I think it's SB 298, Senator Barfoot's bill about minimum staffing requirements for Class 3 municipal law enforcement agencies, which is Huntsville and Montgomery. And I haven't looked at Hunts Vegas numbers or anything like that, but I know we are way short officers here in Montgomery. Despite, pay raises and all sorts of bonus packages and stuff, we're still short, which, we don't have to get into. It makes you go, I wonder why.
We can get into it.
Yeah, sure. Number one, what do you think of this bill? Because there would be an aspect of course, the AG's office recouping or recovering any costs incurred by the state and overseeing if the state needs to supplement what the municipality's doing. But what do you think of this bill?
Yeah, so I went over and testified in favor of this bill on behalf of the office. Senator Barfoot and I work together a lot on bills and both have a unique interest in Montgomery. He represents Montgomery specifically. I work in Montgomery, grew up down the road in Selma, so I just feel a deep connection to the city and a real responsibility to do what I can from my position to help it. The fascinating thing about that bill, the day I went over and spoke, Mayor Reed showed up and said that the city didn't need any help from the state, didn't need the state meddling, and then one of the Democrat senators from Montgomery said that he didn't believe that more police reduced crime.
Wow.
And so I, at that point, asked to be called on and said, what? And so I've been helping him work on that bill. Clearly, the bill is intended to try to help Montgomery. Huntsville's doing fine. But, it speaks to a much more philosophical issue than I think people may realize at first blush, which is, if local people in Montgomery elect people like Stephen Reed, should they experience the consequences of who they elect, or should the state come in and bail them out? And I wrote a little op-ed a couple weeks ago when this first came up, and I said, I think the state can't turn a blind eye. I mean, you want the voters to learn a lesson, but nobody deserves lawlessness and nobody deserves to live in fear. And so the state has to step in. So what does that look like? This bill's not a bad idea. It's basically saying, hey, city, if you're not going to police yourself, the state's going to do it and you're going to pay us for it.
Yep.
I mean, can't argue with that.
And you already have Max. You already have, the cooperation with OSHA and the Sheriff's Office.
It's worked real well. But it can't take the place of a fully staffed police department.
Why do you think we are so low? In terms of, for the audience, in terms of officer levels here in Montgomery?
Because you are asking people to police an area that is inherently unsafe without any commitment to them that you're going to have their backs when something goes wrong.
Amen.
That's why.
Lack of leadership at those levels.
And the state can be the substitute for a lot of things. But a mayor and a city council run a police department. They choose a police chief. They're going to have a lot to say about how you attract new officers. And I don't think people believe in Stephen Reed enough to do this job. I think it's way easier to take a job to police Prattville or Auburn or really most other places. And that's why the Max unit's so unique, because it's got other layers of protection. that they're going into high crime areas and they're ready and they know what may happen and they know who's going to have their backs. So, yeah, I think the sales pitch falls a little flat from an administration that's not willing to stand with law enforcement beyond what the political party will allow. And I think they're going to struggle.
Well, and, we spoke to Tuberville earlier today. A coach, I have a sense, too, say you're in the AG's office, you have a Governor Tuberville. I think Montgomery better pay attention because I'm sounding just listening to you and, of course, knowing Coach fairly well on this issue. Y'all aren't going to tolerate this.
No. And, I mean, there are things we need from the legislature, right? I mean, the Attorney General's office can't police a city, and ALEA can't do it long term. There's got to be a real decision on how to staff it and how to fund it. And I actually think Barfoot's a genius by saying, well, the city's got money for it.
Sure.
I thought it was fascinating. Senator Hatcher, who's the one who made the comments about more police doesn't reduce crime, he also filed for a new occupational tax that's supposedly going to fund public safety. Yeah. Well, riddle me that. But anyway, I think Barfoot's smart because money is not the complete excuse here at all. And so if the state's going to take it on, that certainly shouldn't come out of the pockets of the taxpayers. It should come out of the funds that Montgomery has already set aside for law enforcement.
In the meantime, definitive proof that constitutional carry is a right. It's a duty of every citizen, in my opinion.
Here.
I believe in that. I believe in that.
We slapped him down on that pretty good.
Yeah, and again, folks, we're talking to Catherine Robertson, and this 30 minutes is flying by.
Sorry.
No,
you got me
it.
off on a couple of things I have opinions on.
Now, real quick, and I know we touched on it last time, but it's good to reiterate the point because I believe I just saw the current AG, Steve Marshall, pen an op-ed about this on the fight over abortion and protecting the unborn is not over, though we have some of the strictest laws in the nation. When it comes to abortion, there's much more to be done. So what are some of those things to be done?
Yeah, I mean, our main struggle right now is the chemical abortion. It's the mail-in. We don't see a lot of this coming from doctors or providers within the state of Alabama. That'd be easy to deal with. This is coming from out of state and in some cases out of the country. And so what's happening is these women are setting up teledoc appointments. They may not know how far along they are. The doctor doesn't know anything about their existing health condition, and they're mailing them these pills. And I mean, that is ripe for just horrible adverse health outcomes. And so we really hope that this will be solved at the federal level. We've joined efforts to get the FDA to take a stand on this, to move away from the Biden position and to ban this stuff. We can't police outside of our jurisdiction, and every state feels the same way. We're all struggling with the same thing, and so we have a collective effort has been had in court and just interacting with the administration to try to put an end to this because it's bad.
Is it because essentially the feds allow that full interstate commerce that this can come in? Because for instance, you can't buy weed from Colorado.
Right. There's some interstate commerce issues, but it's also that the FDA has labeled this as safe. Essentially, they've dumbed down being under the care of a doctor in person and that kind of thing. It just made it easier to access, which was the goal of Biden, but it didn't come with any health prevention. I mean, it didn't come with any considerations for women's health outside of just access, that's what abortion people always do. It's all about the access, but never about really considering the women's whole health. And so, it's about money.
Yeah.
It's about money. And so, it's going to take at least the red states all working together and hopefully with some help from the administration. Louisiana, my friend Liz Merle, who's the AG over there, has played a big role in this so far. And we're hoping to make some progress. But that's our biggest struggle right now.
No, you have something.
What's the one thing that you, now that you're on the stump, we're going to put you on the stump, because I want to know. I like your disposition. Firefighting out of a high heels is just damn. What do you think? What do you bring? What is it that your vision is for Alabama? What are you going to do to expound on what Steve Marshall's done, I guess?
Yeah. I mean, there are always going to be projects that you thought you'd have time to do. You thought you'd get to it. You thought the climate would be right for it, and you didn't. And one of the things that I'm really interested in right now. We've had this Harvard fair admissions case, with race-based discrimination in college admissions. On the heels of that, we're going to have this Louisiana v. Calais case about redistricting. Yes. Both of those cases are going to the heart of, are we still doing race? Is that still a thing? Are we still going to permit courts to allow everything to be run by race, be that congressional maps or be that school admissions or what have you? Alabama has over 40 school systems right now that are still under desegregation orders that were put in place in the 60s and 70s.
Wow.
It is a travesty.
Wow.
And the climate hadn't been right for it. The courts hadn't really caught up to it. The administration hasn't been correct. But if I'm sworn in January, let's say this Calais decision comes out this summer and it's favorable to the states. That gives me maybe 6 more months in my current role, and then, hopefully get sworn in next January and get to keep going. I want to get every single one of those things lifted, and I want to deal with them en masse. And I think with the U.S. Supreme Court precedent being correct, with the Civil Rights Division under Trump being aggressive and relentless and sick of this kind of stuff, I think we could negotiate some kind of global deal to get these done away with, to let our schools just go back to hiring teachers regardless of race, disciplining students regardless of race, putting kids in the gifted program regardless of race. We need to be done with this. It's also extremely costly for the school system. So that's a project I've had my eye on for a long time, but the climate needed to be right for it, and it's starting to be like right now.
That's great.
Now, if folks like what they're hearing and want to support your campaign, whether donate or volunteer, how can they do so?
Yeah, it's KatherineForAG.com. You can find me on all the social media platforms. I try not to be boring. It's usually a pretty good follow. KGRob27 on X if you want some hot takes, and I've got them. But yeah, I would love any help I can get. I'm running hard towards May 19th. Would love to have the votes of all your listeners. And I think you need an attorney general who's really competent in knowing how to use this office. With 2 years left in President Trump, with a brand new governor coming in, you need somebody that knows how to navigate Montgomery and is willing to work through the status quo.
Well, and I'll say, having have done 2 interviews now on this show, you ain't boring, number one, and there's much more that could be said in your favor beyond just not being boring. So I appreciate your time as always, Catherine.
Thank you. It's been great. Thank you so much.
We'll be right back.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
What's your biggest investment? More than likely, it's your home. So treat it that way when you hire a painting contractor. At PBS Painting, there are no gimmicks, no $99 specials. Just quality painting and someone who treats your home with the same respect that you do. At PBS Painting, we have been painting for years and look forward to many more years to come. With PBS Painting, the job gets prepped properly, whether it's cleaning, scraping, or priming. We always use quality products, which is a must for a quality paint job. So if you're looking for a painter that doesn't need upfront money and is on the job at all times, then please give me a call. Scott Bowers and PBS Painting, 294-5122. That's PBS Painting, 294-5122. Look at some of our work on Facebook at PBS Painting Montgomery.
This is your roving reporter. Today I'm talking with a prospector. That's right, man. I'm prospecting for gold. You dig? No, but it looks like you do. And you know the first thing I'm going to do when I strike it rich? What's that? I'm going to hire David Ernest to be my money man. You mean everyone's favorite asset preservationist? That is correct, man. I'm going to call him up at 833-596-7233. 833-596-SAFE. You know, I've heard a lot of the good things about David Ernest. You know, he's the best money man around with over 40 years of experience. Experience is necessary, especially when you're digging for gold. That's right, man. And I can see that you don't have very much experience. What do you mean, man? Well, you have the little plastic bucket and shovel like a kid would take to the beach. Yeah, man, well, I want to start out small and then kind of pace myself up until I strike it rich. Well, maybe you should call David Ernest first. You think he's got a shovel? Never know till you ask. I dig, man.
For too long, Alabama's statewide news companies have shamed us for our conservative Christian values. Alabama deserves a news company that cherishes our culture, a company that isn't bought and paid for by the powers that be. 1819 News is that company. Run by Alabamians for Alabamians, 1819 News celebrates what is good and beautiful about our state, while exposing those who work against our values in secret. Just go to 1819news.com to learn more. Subscribe to our newsletter. That's 1819news.com. This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number one in the number two business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
I'm back to doing what I love and more, thanks to the Good Feet store.
I suffered with plantar fasciitis for almost 20 years. I would try drugstore insoles and supports.
If you suffer with plantar fasciitis, we know the search for pain relief can feel like a hopeless ordeal.
I've been through surgeries, foot injections. I thought that foot pain was going to be with me for the rest of my life.
At the Good Feet store, we hear stories every day of all kinds of cheap inserts, expensive shoes, and other failed remedies people have tried that just didn't work.
I was trying all different things. Not a single one worked. And then I was driving past the Good Feet store, and I thought, why not? Give it a try. They wanted to make sure that they gave me the right arch support for my feet. Then it was like, okay, this is different. These make a difference.
I'm so glad I met Good Feet. That changed my life.
Don't lose hope. Give the Good Feet store a try.
We're located at 7341 East Chase Parkway in the shops at East Chase. Now hiring.
Alabama weather will never fail to surprise you. Our lawns hardly get a chance to have any downtime, and as usual, it's already time to start getting ready for spring. This year, save the hard work and aggravation and call Alabama Lawns, the River Region's leader in weed control and fertilization services. What makes Alabama Lawns the River Region's best? It's the people. They have the experience, education, and commitment to customer satisfaction. Ask your neighbors. Alabama Lawns has been the Montgomery Advertiser's Reader's Choice Award winner 14 years in a row. The Alabama Lawn staff is made up of long-term employees and agronomy graduates, and the staff at Alabama Lawns attend annual continuing education classes. It pays to have someone that knows southern grass types and how to keep them green and flourishing. Call Alabama Lawns today at 272-7171 and let them show you real value in lawn maintenance service. Alabama Lawns, the company with black trucks and green lawns.
Mike Costanza with Chappie's Deli.
And Jeff Marenko with Chappie's Deli.
One of the reasons Chappie's Deli has been around for over 32 years is Blue Water Broadcasting.
Yes, it is, and we have the perfect faces for radio.
We sure do. And if you have a perfect face for radio, call Blue Water.
Our advertisers are our biggest advocates. Call us to find out how radio can increase your bottom line. Blue Water Broadcasting. Local folks helping local business.
Rich Thomas Weather, a service of Riverside Chevrolet Wetumpka. If it's Chevy, it's Riverside. Best price, best selection. Check them out on the web at riversideusa.net.
Rich Thomas Weather.
Well, hi, everybody. Weak cool front moving through the area today, so tonight will be a little cooler. Partly cloudy, overnight low temperature falls to about 50. Tuesday will be noticeably cooler with a high temperature only in the lower 70s and a breezy day. There could be an isolated shower in the area somewhere on Tuesday night. Wednesday, sunshine, 71. Back to the low to mid 80s on Thursday and Friday before another weekend cool down. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
The River Region's first and only news talk station on FM. Live, local talk. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Welcome back. I'm your host, Joey Clark. Troy Carrico here in the studio with me. And great seeing Catherine Robertson again.
She's outstanding.
And now I want to shift gears to something totally different. because I was looking for the latest updates on Iran. Some reporting they are ready to make major nuclear concessions, but no deal's close, and it's all the real-time chatter out there. But we know this one thing is for certain, and though it's up to God to decide what happens. It truly is.
Yeah, of course.
Not up to anybody else. Not to jump into presumption, but the billionaire owner of adult content platform OnlyFans has died after a long battle with cancer. Leonid Redvinsky died at the age of 43.
Wow. 43.
Of course, his death raises new questions about the platform's future ownership. According to his website, Redvinsky donated to several charities, like Sloan Kettering Cancer Center and West Suburban Humane Society and EB Research Partnership, studied economics at Northwestern, and by 2018 had bought a majority stake in OnlyFans and helped transform the video content platform into an adult content subscription business powerhouse that reshaped how women monetize their bodies. OnlyFans was founded in 2016 and exploded in popularity during COVID. Some of the latest data from 2024 showed the website had 4.6 million creators, 377 million fans, and $1.4 billion in revenue. By the way, of all those so-called creators and so-called fans, but just looking at the creator side, it's only a tiny amount that actually make money. And I now look back on my experiences with disgust. And, I don't want to judge anybody too harshly. People make all sorts of decisions in their life, and they feel comfortable about doing it. And you could say on the margins this was better than the other alternatives, but it just seems like what a sad thing for our culture that if a young woman is blessed to be beautiful in this world, you can do this and you can make a crap load of money. And by the way, it's not just young women, it's men too. And it's, I think it's a very undignified, depraved thing that tears at your soul and your relationship with the Almighty. And so I'd encourage folks to just turn it off. But to see the passing of the guy who made it into what it is, you gotta wonder what's going to happen next for him. But, I hate to see, because, I have a soft spot in my heart for anybody who passed away from cancer because of my mother. But I saw that and just, ooh. And, we make a lot of jokes about it. I think a lot of folks have, and I certainly was for the longest time, desensitized to that reality that that's just a prominent part of the culture. And when you grow up in the internet age, which I did, like a lot of your payment processing, a lot of your innovation in the internet, it was porn.
Well, it's 70% of the bandwidth,
Joey. Yeah. But then when you start to see, you start to think about it's somebody's daughter, that person might want to actually be a mother later, like the long-term effects of the so-called performers. Again, it's one of those things where I will pray for the nation. Yeah. And again, I try not to judge other folks. I would just hope that they see what they're actually doing and that they are so much more. And I'd say this to anybody, whether you're straight or gay or whatever, you are so much more than your sexuality.
Amen.
So much more. And that should be a gift that is something sacred and precious for you and somebody else, or maybe you don't even pursue that. And that's a dignified way as well. But it's kind of like, being desensitized for years and then realizing, oh, wow, look at what this is doing to so many people.
The opposite of sexuality is spirituality, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to have that. And a lot of people are derelict, as we know.
Anyway, I saw that and I went, well, good luck in the afterlife, man.
Yeah.
Hope
they packed a bunch of coins for him and some earthen bowlware so he can have it in the afterlife.
Now, we have another story here from 1819 News.
What do we got?
You remember the lady who wore a penis outfit?
I knew that's where we were going to go, the dictator lady.
Yeah. Or no dictators is what she said.
That's right. Yeah.
But the case for a woman facing 4 municipal charges after a No Kings protest in Fairhope has been pushed back for a 5th time.
Wow.
Gina Renee Gamble is charged with disorderly conduct resisting arrest, giving a false name in violation of a municipal ordinance after her arrest last October. Gamble, who her attorney admits was dressed as a large penis and holding a no dictator sign, spelling you can guess. However, the defense claims that the arrest violated Gamble's rights, thereby making it illegal. Police said Gamble was asked to leave or remove the penis costume after they received complaints of a traffic hazard.
There's a big weenie out there. Oh, bam.
Video of the arrest shows Gamble walking away from the officer before she was taken to the ground and placed in handcuffs. Before getting into the police cruiser, Gamble told the police her name was Antifa. Or Antifa.
Oh, my gosh. You kidding me?
Municipal Court Prosecutor Marcus McDowell accused Gamble of engaging in disorderly conduct, quote, with the intent to cause public inconvenience, annoyance, or alarm, end quote. McDowell stated to the court that the defendant was using, quote, unquote, abusive or obscene language, conduct, or gestures dressed as a giant, erect penis. I'm quoting from the actual court statement there by the court prosecutor. I don't know why I had to include that one word. I didn't know how.
It's phallic. We just call it phallic in costume.
Right. But both the defense and municipal attorney have agreed on past resets in the case. It is unclear why Fairhope Municipal Court Judge Hames Snedeker has reset the case for April 15th. The trial is set to begin at 2 p.m. at the Fairhope Municipal Court. Indivisible Baldwin County, but they might as well be invisible, plans to rally in support of Gamble ahead of the trial. Yeah. Gamble is considered innocent until proven guilty, and honestly, at this point, I'm like...
Hey, so what? You know, yeah. The idiots are going to be idiots. But, you know, if your kid was there and they're like, what is it, Mommy? It's like F the Pirates kind of moment for you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's just one of those. It's the story that won't ever end.
That's why it never stops.
Like, I got 1892s, and there's Eric Thomas writing about the penis costume lady again. Like, have we not, like, we can't even, no wonder we can't even speed up capital murder trials. we can't even speed up a trial about a woman wearing a penis outfit. Anyway.
Oh, man.
Oh, look at this. What you got? State Rep Ernie Yarborough's teenage son involved in accidental shooting at his lawmaker's residence.
Whoa.
My God.
When did that just come out?
Yeah, Lawrence County Sheriff's deputies. I just met Ernie the other day, and I was walking to the State House the same time as him. Yeah. But Lawrence County Sheriff's deputies responded to State Rep Ernie Yarborough's residence on Saturday evening following an accidental shooting involving two of the legislator's children. According to Lawrence County Sheriff's Office Chief Deputy Brian Covington, Yarborough's wife called 911 to report that his 6-year-old son had accidentally shot his 13-year-old brother in the back of the shoulder.
Darn.
Oh, my God.
That's terrible, man.
The parents took the child to the emergency room prior to deputies arriving and then later took him to the Children's Hospital in Birmingham. At the time of the shooting, Yarborough and his wife, along with 4 other children, were inside the home. For the sheriff's office, the case is under investigation and is being forwarded to the Lawrence County District Attorney's Office. The lawmaker's son is reportedly back home and recovering, thank God.
Goodness gracious.
That is horrifying.
How old were the children, did they say?
Let's see this again. It was a 6-year-old son that accidentally shot his 13-year-old brother in the back of the shoulder.
Man.
Well, how does a 6-year-old get a hold of a weapon like that?
That's the question, right?
Oh, I hate reporting that. That's a shame. At least the kid's all right. Thank God the kid's all right. Anyway, 272-9228. 1819 really making me happy with their afternoon breaking news. Daggum, man. Anyway.
It rated on my parade, man. I was feeling good.
Let's go to line 1. You're on there. Who's this?
Okay, you were talking about that lady down in Fairhope with the offensive costume.
The penis outfit, yes.
I said offensive because, I didn't want to be dumped.
You can say penis.
I know you can. I watched a movie last night, and I don't watch movies because I don't like they make them so long. I don't have the attention span. And plus, they need an editor. I don't like watching a 2.5-hour stupid movie. But this movie was recommended because it was the Academy or Oscar Award winner, whatever, the big one. It won like Best Picture, some crap like that. So I watch it. I forced myself because in 10 minutes I wanted to break the television. It's about revolution. Mm-hmm. You know, that lady was talking about Antifa. That was. They used a different name. They called it France 1775 or 1975 or something. This underground crap where they go to all these protests and all that stuff, and they want revolution. They want to. We've got people. When you see these protests, this movie is talking about. These people want, and Hollywood supports overthrowing the United States government.
Amen.
Overthrowing capitalism. I mean, you know, you talk about, you know, like the oath you took, Troy, about protection against all enemies, foreign and domestic.
That's right, brother.
You never thought it would actually mean domestic. It's domestic.
Well, they've been this way, though, for decades, man.
I don't know, man. Back in the 60s, they weren't trying to overthrow the government. They just wanted out of the Vietnam War.
I don't know about that. Like, I'll put it this way, just to go back another decade, I don't think the House on Un-American Activities, or maybe some of their behavior was bad, was completely wrong about Hollywood.
I absolutely agree with that.
Oh, the McCarthy hearings.
Yeah.
You're right. Yeah. He was the canary in the coal mine that was warning us. And we ignored the warnings, and here we are. And, of course, now they guise themselves as politicians. I mean, the Democratic Party is just a terrorist group.
I'll tell you something. I write extensively on this at 1819 News, some of my articles, and we have an insurgency inside the wire that is trying very hard to unseat the Republic and to destroy the vestiges of Christianity and all things that make us a great nation.
And they don't care. They talk about democracy. They don't care if it's fair or that they're in the minority. They just want to take over regardless. They want to do, when they're in their demented minds, what's right.
Amen.
It's, anyway, whatever.
And so which movie was this that you watched?
What was it?
One battle after another.
One battle after another. Okay.
It was awful. I'm gonna try to watch. I'm going to watch Sinners, I think. Maybe that'll be, it won't be about trying to undermine the country that we all love and you know, prosper from so much.
Right.
I mean, I'm for freedom. These idiots don't realize that if they go socialist, there ain't going to be no freedom.
No.
I like freedom.
Yeah.
Amen.
Liberty, baby.
The socialism crap ain't gonna work for me, and all these homosexuals and weirdos and drug doers and all that stuff. All that's gonna be gone. They don't do drugs in Muslim countries. They don't do drugs in China. They don't tolerate homosexuality in those countries either.
Well,
so they better be careful what they wish for.
Yeah, you want to do that funny business, you need to be like in a leadership.
A sin in private is half forgiven, is what my Muslim friends tell me.
Right, you got to be a royal if you want to do that sort of funny business.
Oh, you mentioned the Muslim thing. Listen, I wish I had thought of this, and since both of y'all are writers and I've read you, this is a great quote. Yeah. When Muslims are in the minority, they are concerned about minority rights. When Muslims are in the majority, there are no minorities.
That's right, man. That's right.
And that was said by Winston
Churchill, a man for all seasons, for sure.
All right. Talk to y'all
Thanks, brother.
another time. Bye.
Good to hear from you, Biloxi Gambler. Anyway, we'll be right back after this.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings, 6 till 9, and afternoons, 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM, WACV.
Hi, I'm Carl Schmidt, naturopath and owner of the Herb Shop Wellness Center at 8161 Vaughan Road. You know, with over 30 years experience in natural wellness, I've seen countless health fads come and go. A few years ago, we added a patented technology that actually activates your stem cells. It reverses the aging process at the cellular level. However, you do need proper hydration and targeted nutrition. At the Herb Shop, our advanced scanning and testing technology allows us to accurately assess your nutritional needs and get a customized plan for you. Come in today and see what the Herb Shop can do for you.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number one in the number two business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
Live, local talk. The River Region's most trusted voice for news and opinion. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. Let's go right to the phones and talk to Ray Bowles from Prattville Carpet. Hey, Ray, how you doing?
Man, I am flying high today. How about y'all?
Flying high as well.
Well, we had the best weekend ever. Now, this ad goes to turkey hunters. If you need carpet, call me, or any kind of floor for that matter. But I went to South Florida and killed a big old turkey, the Osceola.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you're a turkey hunter, you know exactly what I just told you, because that's like every turkey hunter's dream is an Osceola turkey. It was fantastic. I left the house at 10 o'clock at night because Sailor wouldn't quit talking to me. I pulled in at 3:30. They woke me up at 5:30. We hit the stand. That bird was on us by 8:30 and on the ground. And, oh, yeah, what a day. It was perfect.
Now, is that good to eat?
Absolutely perfect hunt. I have no idea. I'm stuffing it. I brought it back to mount it. You can't cut it open if you're going to mount it.
Okay, well, there you go. But, I mean, that...
Yeah.
Man,
the turkeys are wonderful eating. I love turkey. Now, you cut them up in little chunks and, like, nuggets. Oh, it's some of the best meat you'll ever eat. I can tell you that now.
But this one's worthy of essentially a trophy.
This one's a trophy, yes. See, Alabama's got all the turkey hunters messed up this year. They put us out too late. You can't use decoys for the first 10 days. You can only shoot one bird the first. I don't know what they're smoking up there, but they're not helping turkey hunters.
And I admit, I've never been. Like, I've heard it's a good time, though, especially from you.
You don't want, all I can say is don't do it.
I'll get obsessed with it.
The first time you have a bird start talking to you and run straight at you, you're hooked. It's done. Yeah, it's wonderful. Best thing that could ever happen in hunting. Because, like I said, you can't holler at the deer. You can only holler at the turkeys. And the squirrels don't bug you near as much like they do whenever you're deer hunting, because you're not sitting up there in the tree with them.
Right. And, half the time deer hunting is you're just sitting in the woods in the morning. Good luck even seeing something half the time.
Yeah, I mean, but you got to pick your poison. Either you're going to freeze yourself to death, or you're going to fight the mosquitoes. I'd rather fight the mosquitoes.
There you go. And again, folks, this ad goes out to all turkey hunters. And if you do want to get some new carpet or any type of flooring, Prattville Carpet can help you out if you call them direct at 285-8117.
And I'll have that mount in the store for long. I already took it to the taxidermy.
Nice.
Angie said I can't put dead animals in the house.
Nice.
Yeah, they have to come to the store. So, yeah, all you turkey hunters, once it's up, I'll let you know. You can come see my Osceola.
What's that, 2201 Copsford Road?
Call us today, 285-8117.
Well, appreciate you, Ray, and congratulations. That's pretty awesome, man.
Appreciate you guys. We'll see y'all.
Later. So what did we learn today? Well, we learned that Tuberville is going to be very transparent, very vocal, looking forward to seeing him here in person once he becomes governor, Tuberville, here in the studio. Got to talk to him over the stream earlier today. Learned that Catherine Robertson is, she's ready. She's ready to be the next Attorney General of the great state of Alabama. And, I learned when I woke up this morning, it's another beautiful day. Thank God for another beautiful day and pretty good show. And let the war end already. But it looks like Trump is trying to finally put this thing to a close. Again, saying that they've been in talks, productive talks with the Iranians. The Iranians say, no, we're not. But a lot of reporting is corroborating what Trump is saying. Turkey, Egypt, Pakistan, or is it Pakistan, are mediating between the U.S. and Iran. And it looks like another report, Israeli report, that Tehran is prepared to offer very large and serious concessions regarding its nuclear program. However, the same source says the chances of reaching an agreement at the moment are very low. The source added that the Islamic Republic's pullbacks are the result of military pressure and that the steps taken so far are still not enough. Well, we'll see. It seems like Trump is not letting up, while you have some, like Senator Lindsey Graham, saying you got to go ahead and take Kharg Island, use the Marines. I believe in the Marines. Well, I don't second guess the United States Marine Corps, but you got to think of long-term strategy in many ways. And now I'm seeing a headline that Israeli officials are frustrated they can't control the maverick and independent Trump. A lot of folks feel that way about Israel, the maverick and independent state of Israel. But it's an interesting game where folks are like, I think there are way too many folks blaming Israel in particular for too many things these days, and it's sad to see. But there are moments where you wonder, okay, who's driving the car here in terms of just the foreign policy in this part of the world? And Trump seems to be hitting an interesting middle ground, especially with the Board of Peace and trying to create that lasting peace after the awful war there in Gaza. A lot of people killed in that. And perhaps he will be able to work that same similar magic when it comes to Iran and actually getting peace throughout the region. But at the Times of Israel, it says right here, as Trump steers away from war with Iran, Israel rediscovers cost of riding with him. For a third time in a year, the president wants to cut a deal that ends fighting before Israel is ready. Now Netanyahu has to make sure regime truly cannot get the bomb and that Hezbollah doesn't get off the hook as well. So there we are with the war, at least as far as today goes in public reporting. Y'all stay tuned. Happy Hour with Greg and Pamela. I believe David Blackman's joining. They are next.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusana, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With SRN News, I'm